Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Dread Zone Gaming. This time Olympus is taking on ROK. Words are hard. Reign of Kings. And we're already into the draft. We're joined tonight. Myself, Jace, and Morpheus is with me. Morpheus, how the hell are you doing, man?
I'm good, mate. It's good to be back. Had a little bit of a hiatus, but excited to see DZG hopefully get their first win right now in CC.
Absolutely. Reign of Kings is 2-0, and DZG is 0-2, looking to get their first series win tonight. And we already have the bands coming in. We have Gangplank, Ari, Tom Kench all wrapped up for the side of DZG. We have the Sever, Shavana, and Jin coming in for Reign of Kings, and Trundle is the first pick for DZG. How do you feel about Trundle going in as that priority pick for DZG here, Morpheus?
Trundle's really good. So I used to play with the team, fun fact, and Trundle was always priority for DZG because there's so much flexibility of where this champion can go. Tofu can play in the top lane, Power Ethernet can play in the jungle as well, both to pretty high degrees. And worst case scenario, it can go to Eclipse in the support role. Lilia coming through for ROK though tells me that this Trundle may be forced to go into wherever the Lilia isn't, because the Lilia does tend to outscale him once you get to the later game, unless the rest of the team ends up picking tanks.
Which could dissuade some things going on here for Reign of Kings. Trundle coming in, tanks are dissuaded here. So really good to see that. The Misfortune coming in to join the Lilia. That's going to be a lot of AoE damage there, potentially. If Reign of Kings is able to set it up, that's going to really kind of force him into some cruxes, hopefully, for some draft decisions. They need to get some things to synergize with that bullet time coming in. And DZG taking a great pick that would synergize with it in Rakan here. I'm not sure exactly what they're going to pair that up with AD carry-wise.
But the nice thing with Misfortune Lilia is that the general combo is Misfortune would use the E to slow down whoever's close by. Lilia would go in for the sleep, and then Misfortune would bullet time over it. Fun fact, bullet time does not wake up anyone who has gone to sleep.
Right.
So if you're able to pull that off, that is at least a two-man strong wombo. Lilia is also able to get out as well because of the increased movement speed. Tristana coming in for Gin and Tonic gives you the mobility that you want should something like that happen to be able to get you out of dodge though.
Yeah, absolutely. There is that time that ticks from the Lilia putting people to sleep. Tristana able to rocket jump out of that one. But now ROK has their jungle and AD carry picked, and they will join it with the Thresh and hitting into the second phase of ban. So we see both bot lanes in. We see potentially the jungle matchup, unless that is piloted by Octofu up in the top lane, that Trundle. How do you feel so far about this first round of picks?
I like it more for Reign of Kings right now, purely because of the synergies between Misfortune and Lilia, and Thresh is able, if Thresh's reactions are quick enough, to be able to keep the Rakan out from potentially going in, but also trying to escape as well. Mid lane bans coming in from both sides here. The Veigar being banned against Monster Penguin. This is a tried and true staple. I'd be surprised if they left the Talia up, because that's also a big fan of the mid lane as well. Ornn is something that Tofu has the potential to just 1v9 with, so no surprise to see that come off the table, along with a LeBlanc as well.
Absolutely, and I know that LeBlanc has given Olympus troubles in the past, but Ornn coming in does telegraph the fact that the side of Reign of Kings think that Trundle is going into the jungle, so that does give DZG a little bit of play in there if they are able to flex that around. We do see the Swain coming in now. You have to think that one's going into the mid lane.
Yeah, I'd say that's true. You can't really put him anywhere else. There have been inklings of a Swain top lane, but I really don't think that will be the one coming in. Slappy has not played a lot of Swain top, is more prominently playing Lilia. Has played 20 games of it so far this year on the ranked side. Cassiopeia would actually be decently good if it comes in for DZG, because not only does it slow the Swain down, Lilia is also, well, the entire team is more or less slowed down. So it's kind of saying, hey, you want to come into us? That's fine. We're going to provide as much counter engage as we can into you, though.
Well, I was looking for something frontline, and a tank Jarvan would do that and really seal things in for the Cassiopeia to be able to just free fire. But that is a little bit of an awkward comp, just from the side of, you know, the Wombo perspective, and then also playing into what Reign of Kings wants to do here. But I really am interested to see what Reign of Kings is going to round this out with what I imagine will be the top lane pick right here. But when it comes down to the world of tanking, not too terribly much outside of the tank Jarvan and the little bit that you get out of Thresh and Swain just inherently. So hopefully this will be a fast-paced game. And once again, we're going for more damage, more aggressive, and bruiser style in the top lane.
Yeah, this tells me that Trundle's going top. This
Yeah,
is a straight up pick for Tofu. It's a tried and tested pick for him. He is able to last wherever he can, and do what he needs to do top lane. He is kind of the rock of DCG, and it'll allow Power of Ethernet to say, you know what, I can try and impact other lanes. Aatrox coming in, a 4 slappy up in the top lane. This is a champion that he is pretty darn fond of. Has played 24 games of it so far. This split with a 50% win rate. The big thing I'm very, very curious about to see is the Lilia for Hestaga. Has played 16 games of it so far with a 63% rune rate. That tells me that this one likes to be proactive around the map. Has skanks set up in both mid and bot to be able to make something happen as well, which is where I would assume the focus would be from the Reign of Kings jungler.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we see all the picks. We're going to get them slotted into where we think they're going to go. However, we have, for the side of DZG, Trundle in the top lane, Jarvan coming into the jungle with Cassiopeia mid, and Tristana Rakan filling in for that bot lane. For the side of Reign of Kings, we have Aatrox in the top, Lillian jungle, Swain mid with a Misfortune Thresh bot lane. We see all the champions on the Rift, theoretically, where we think they're going to go. Which one are you giving this to, Morpheus? Which one do you think came out on top?
I think Reign of Kings' comp is a little bit easier to execute because you just rely on such few abilities. DZG, to me, it looks like you obviously you want the Tristana and Cassiopeia to scale. Early game will be a lot on Tofu and Power of Ethernet because they just tend to be the rock of the game, the rock of the team that tends to get them through to the mid game. As long as they don't fight a lot early, they should be fine. But it is going to be harder to play this comp as part of it is disengage that you have with the Cassiopeia and the Tristana, the counter engage, I should say. Part of it you have going in with the Rakan and Jarvan as well. Jarvan, the Trundle, I wouldn't be surprised if we just see him split push for most of the game because it tends to Tofu tends to put a lot of pressure over to him, which can give a potential 4v4 advantage over to DCG. But purely draft alone, I think Reign of Kings slightly has it just because it's an easier comp to execute.
So you talked about the ease of execution and what Reign of Kings kind of needs to do, and that's just fight early, and DCG needs to kind of stall that one out late. Do you think that, just based on the champion matchup, how do you feel about Trundle dealing with Aatrox in the side lane?
1 versus 1, it'll most likely be down to Trundle because Trundle can steal stats. However, the moment someone else turns up, it ends up being very, very difficult for Trundle. Also, I am somewhat biased to Tofu because I've played with him before. I know his Trundle is pretty darn stellar, so I'd put him 1-in-1 matchup. I'd almost always give him an advantage. Going into an Aatrox, though, because you are able to steal the stats of it being a Trundle, you're inherently putting your eggs in that basket.
It's always fun to see the waiting game, who ults first in that matchup. But ladies and
right.
gentlemen, you see all the picks. You've heard Morpheus' thoughts. One quick thing to mention is don't forget to check out our sponsor, Metafy. So if you're needing a little bit of help in your gameplay, a little bit of coaching, feel free to check out Metafy and utilize that DZG code to get yourself a little bit of a bump. But before we get into some game action, we're going to head into a quick spectate delay and be bringing you the action of DZG Olympus versus Reign of Kings very shortly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the game now as both teams are taking to the rift as soon as the base barriers drop. There they go, and it looks like we're seeing a little bit of a rush here on the side of DZG going into the bot side jungle and the 5-man fan out from the side of Reign of Kings. I don't know if we're going to get any action here. Not too many abilities can really synergize here in this early game for the side of DZG. I think they may be looking to just dissuade
30
maybe
seconds until minions
the hook
spawn.
from Thresh, but I think it's just waiting this bush out. But Morpheus joined here with you, and what are you seeing? Anything too crazy with the runes and masteries coming in?
Nothing really too much. Conqueror seems to be flavor of the game. We have 5 people on this. 2 on the side of DZG. I'm surprised Power of Ethernet went for Conqueror. Oh, hold on a second. We got a little bit of an invade coming.
Yeah, they're walking in, but there's 5 members of DZG here. I don't know if they're going to look for it. Rakan goes in. Now we're seeing some action going on to the Leroy. He's going to have to flash out, but Tristana jumps over. One more shot to do it. First blood goes to Jin and Tana.
My guy just Leroy Jenkins his way back to the fountain. That was a very, very good patient move by DZG, suspecting that that may happen. It was good on the side of Reign of Kings to say, hey, no, we can potentially make something happen here. Generally, you want to drop a ward early in that bush to see if there's anything there, or throw a blind hook. I don't know what Leroy took ended up taking level 1, but great start by DZG as a whole, putting gold in probably the most important pocket in Gin and Tonic Tristana.
Absolutely. If this man is able to get ahead, rocket jump into the enemy team, get reset after reset after reset, it's going to be absolutely lethal. But, you know, they did want to go in. They wanted to get a little bit of vision, try to find out where Power over Ethernet was going to be in that early game. They got the ward into the Raptor pit, but I don't know if that vision and control was worth giving first blood over to a Tristana.
Yeah, I mean, it makes things a little bit easier because obviously the team's obviously 400 gold up at this point already as a root comes through against Power of Ethernet. But this is one thing you have to remember on the side of Tristana, like, you're not able to freeze waves. You can try to slow push, but inherently being a Tristana, it is very difficult for you to slow waves. There's Tofu who's having his way with Slappy here.
That lethal tempo is doing a lot of work for Tofu up in that top lane. You talked about the flavor of the game being that Conquer. Octofu coming up with lethal tempo in just 1, 2, 3. He's doing the slap, one slappy up there, and it's looking good for him. But that E1 Tristana absolutely creating a lot of chaos for your wave management as an AD carry. And Wit picking up the Arcane Comet here on Misfortune is going to have a lot of free poke coming in. And I don't think Renji has missed a single one of those ever moves there. In that mid lane matchup. He got one on Power over Ethernet, he got one on Mobster Penguin, and those stacks for Swain, they feel damn good.
Yeah, it is nice to get him off early. Mobster Penguin probably has to be careful with a little bit of his positioning. There's a little bit more of a trade coming in, though. With Wit taking the Comet here, this is where Misfortune is going to try to use the advantage, because she knows that the wave will almost always be pushing into her, so she can at least still get some poke out, while Jin and Tonic have to sit there and say, hey, if we really want to break this freeze and push it in, they have to generally call the jungler, or to be able to commit heavily to it, as Awkward Tofu and Slappy are just going to be wet noodle fighting this entire top lane for the first, like, 8-9 minutes.
And kind of looking at the masteries again here, we do see the rain of bullets coming in from Misfortune, which does not as that hook will connect. I don't know much more coming out of that as that play will push him back, but Leroy taking a few shots for his trouble. But what I was going to say is the Glacial Augment coming in from Thresh. You have the E coming in from Misfortune, the Glacial Augment coming in from Thresh. Like, Lily is going to have a really fun time if she's ever able to find the ideal position to come in for the gank, to line up some of her abilities. But we're seeing the trading going up here. The pillars dropped. Tofu will get ripped back in by the E, and I think it's going to be a fairly even trade there. But Tofu definitely sitting very pretty, 9 CS up when that Aatrox.
Well, that's the thing, right? You want to be able to try and set up as much as you can for Lilia to go in and get the sleep. You have the slow coming in from Misfortune. Leroy, if he's able to potentially even sack himself, hitting someone with that Glacial also creates more of a slow. Renji will most likely be going Rylai's first item on this Swain, again, providing a slow. You have a lot of setup for Hestaga to just go in and say, hey, I want to put everyone to sleep, as he's not afraid to invade
right now.
Oh my
goodness! Be a lot of damage on Power over Ethernet. He's thinking he's burning, and he died for his Raptor. So I guess that ward did give a little bit here, but Monster Penguin trying to look for a little bit of pressure onto Histega, but it's not going to be enough as Lilia walks in, and Lilia gets the kill.
Jin and Tonic might want some of this, but they shouldn't really want to push forward because they should know Histaga's still in that jungle.
We're seeing the look right now coming in from the Leroy. He connects. Not Eclipse missed that just barely with that.
That would have hit me if that was my solo queue games.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Oh, now we're seeing some more trading patterns here. That was a beautiful E dash backwards there with the Q coming in from the side of Slappy, but And it's kind of looking like they're just going to stall things out, but Slappy does not want to take that fight. That is a Trundle with a Sheen up here in this top lane.
Yeah, I'm very curious as to how Power Ethernet ate
Uh-oh.
so much damage, but
Power
he can
Ethernet is
say
now
hi.
up here. Octofu goes in with the pillar, and Power Ethernet is looking to go in. Now Slappy ticking, does get hit by the Flag and Drag, and Octofu takes the kill on Slappy.
Great return from Power VD to say, you know what, I may have died, but that's okay. I'm going to try and impact another lane. This is something that DZG has done very well. The synergy that Power Ethernet and Orca Tofu here have in the top lane. Generally, attention does go up there. You want to get Tofu ahead because once he's got a little bit of a lead, he's able to not only carry that lead going into the mid game, but he's able to draw much more attention up there, which allows him to say, you know what, you can leave Power VD to potentially impact other lanes.
Well, it will be the teleport forced out of Slappy there in the top lane, but Mobster Penguin's going to have some fancy footwork. The Grounded coming in.
Good
The
ult.
ultimate coming onto the Swain. He flashes out with some of the damage here. Does he have enough damage to take down Renji? I don't think so. Mobster Penguin running for his life, but he has no bot lane to run to. I think he's just going to stall this one out, gets hit by the Never Move, and will fall. Renji lays Monster Penguin in the mid lane.
You have to feel for Mobster Penguin there because he was pushed to think, you know, where can he go? There may have been a bit of lapse in communication thinking that, hey, I moved down to bot lane thinking my bot lane is still there. But bot lane obviously wasn't there. This ends up being a free Drake for them because the bot lane for DZG had backed. Mid lane is now down. They had just recently seen Jarvan up in the top lane. This ends up just being a free Drake, but if you're on the side of DZG, you think, how can I potentially respond? First Herald is something you're going to have to look at eventually.
Oh, 100%, but that will be first strike going over. The next strike coming up on the map will be the Ocean, so that is a little bit of bad news there for anybody that wants to do turbo scaling, because Ocean Drakes and the Hextech Drakes are two of the best. Infernal's still an option, but Genitonic going very aggressively. Connects onto Wit, but that will be the hook connecting onto Genitonic. Now, Leroy's going to be the target. Gets knocked up. Damage coming through. He's forced to flash out. Heal comes in as well. Wit now looking on the aggressive to put some damage into Eclipse. The E comes down, and I think that will be the play, but that is every single summoner burnt there from the side of Reign of Kings. DZG still have access to 3. Might look for this aggressively here if they have that heads up with.
A lot of trading going on here. You don't want this if you're the side of DZG because slow and quick trade patterns generally do tend to be better for RK, considering the fact that they need to scale. Genitonic gets hooked though.
Oh no! He goes under. Leroy tries to follow it up. He's gonna take the tower. So damn close. But Eclipse flashes forward. He goes the Ignite. Now damage coming onto him. Will it be enough? Now the charm comes in. Haystaker falls. It will be DZG picking up 2. Genitonic is very low, but 2 kills make that 3 Thorns. For the trade of 1, DZG. Love to see that coming in.
Now that's what you call a collapse, but Tofu's having some fun now though.
Tofu's in trouble. Now damage coming in. Both
Q.
but the damage is insane. The stat stealing was enough, and Tofu lives by the skin of his teeth. Holy hell, that was a close one.
I called this at the beginning of the game. You get Tofu a little bit ahead, my guy can be the rock of the team. All he needed was that Sheen and a little bit of a gold advantage over Slappy to say, now I can fight you at all times. Slappy, interestingly enough, has been switching his item set back and forth as to what he wants to get. Reggie's found Mobster Penguin, though.
He's going to get locked up. Now Swain popping the ultimate here, trying to get damage out on Mobster Penguin. But will it be enough? The ultimate comes in. He's stunned. He's dead. Mobster Penguin with the 1v1 kill after walking into where he should not walk. Mobster says, that is my boy.
We went from a 200 gold deficit 90 seconds ago to now 2 and a bit K over to DZG. Now you have to think, you know what? We can truly fight at all points now. There is not one lane or one person on the side of Reign of Kings that can now match their laner that's currently in. Mobster Penguin's far ahead. Tofu is very, very far ahead. Genitonic along with Eclipse are really far ahead. Power Ethernet is now securing the first Herald of the game. This will most likely go over to Tofu, considering the way that they've normally played it, or unless they feel like they can really expose another lane out.
Well, went over Power Ethernet, but you know, it's funny, Morpheus, in the pregame you were talking about, DZG do not want to fight early, but these fights have been going in their fashion. But one thing that you did say that DZG need to look for that first strike, and they do get that. But oh no, that's a hook going on Genitonic, and it will not be the follow-up this time. I think Leroy's a little bit gun-shy after what happened last time. Now Slappy and Tofu going to be fighting up here. Lee will connect, and Slappy says, nah, he wants none of that. The team disadvantage here in that top lane is pretty significant for the side of Slappy.
Yeah, if I'm Tofu, I don't want to stop fighting. Like, continue to have those trades, because there's no way in which Slappy can do anything here. Bot lane Eclipse looks hungry. This guy's got a itchy trigger finger. He's waiting to go.
He is waiting for it. Tofu now has the subjugate back up in the top lane, so he might have been waiting for that. The cooldown disadvantage, or I'm sorry, the cooldown timing is an advantage for the side of Slappy, but that might be why Tofu didn't decide to pull the trigger there in full earnest, that and also the positioning. But Histega owns these Raptors in this game, that is for damn sure.
Yeah, I think you have to think of the impact on both sides, right? While Histega's been able to farm a little bit more, well, a fair bit more than Ethernet has, Ethernet has been able to impact the map a little bit heavier than he has. Tofu, again, fighting Slappy, though.
Looking for it, he steps out of the E, gets the pillar up, that's a beautiful pillar, and now Slappy's force ultimate out, and Subjugate is down as well.
Flash?
And that is Tofu on a killing spree. Histega might not want to be here, Eclipse is looking for Power of Ethernet is here as well. Charm goes out, Flag and Drag does not
yes!
connect. That's the Eclipse, Genitonic on a killing spree. Pops the Rocket jump in a little bit of an awkward fashion here, but will pick up this wave, and DZG with another quick kill. 9-3 is the scoreline, and DZG setting up 3K Morpheus. One hell of an early game for the boys in blue.
That was great, and props to Genitonic for putting a ward down on the Thresh Lantern. Fun fact, you put a ward on it, it becomes extremely difficult to right-click on it, because when you're trying to kick the Lantern to get out, oftentimes it's like, hey, I don't want to see the timer that's left on this thing. Man's trying to escape. Great play by the side of DZG, really accelerating this lead. Now they're currently just shy of 4K. We're not even at 12 minutes. These towers still have plates, and Power of Ethernet still has Herald ready to be able to put down. I mean, at this rate, you could choose any lane to put it down. They'll easily get a crash off it. Kraken already done it for Gin and Tonic at 11.5. Though.
And not only that, we also see the Leandrews, we see the Divine Sunderer compared to 0 mythics on the side of Reign of Kings. Now Drake is now up.
There's a Manamune there.
Take it.
There's a Manamune for it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. The budget mythic, I suppose. But we are seeing the posturing here for this Drake. Histega is forced to flash out because that was a beautiful flag and drag. Power over Ethernet says he got what he wants, and the posturing is in the flavor of DZG here. Renji going to be taking a little bit of damage as Monster Penguin decides to push him off. That is 4 members here strong. I'm sorry, 5 members here strong around this Drake. That's going to give Slappy some time on the top side to get a little bit of these plays to hopefully balance out some of that deficit for him. But I don't think it's going to be enough. DZG, take that Drake, and now it's going to be an Infernal map.
I'm surprised they. Oh, 1 second. Monster gets hooked. I'm surprised they brought Tofu down there. I don't think there was a need to bring him down to be able to get the Drake, because Mobster Penguin's also very, very strong in the mid lane. Could have easily rotated, maybe sacked half a wave, but easily would have been able to go down and help the Drake if needed. That was 2 free plays they gave over to Slappy for honestly no apparent reason. Eclipse is hunting though.
For it now, Leroy's gonna be charmed up. Now will he be knocked up? That's a flash out. Knock up.
Good jump.
That's a lot of damage. Leroy falls down. Genitonic had the angle to keep up the damage, but he decided to not go for it. Histega is now here in the bot lane. Eclipse is low, so DZG need to walk this one out. And that was a fantastic play by Eclipse, looking so aggressive for Todd.
I don't know if Leroy's Lantern was down, but he didn't want to seem to throw it, thinking that, hey, why is Gin and Tonic walking so far up and they didn't know where Eclipse was? Could have just thrown the Lantern into... Never mind, Gin and Tonic's here.
That's a rocket jump for Wit will tick and boom! As that explosive charge will detonate and take down Wit. Now Histega, I don't know.
Do I hit 3? Do I hit?
Has cooldowns here, but he is going to be put to sleep. Flashes are under tower, and will it be enough ticking? But now Genitonic is looking around. Will he follow it up? And he will not. But that was a good flash for nothing there. Histega trying to redeem the 80 carry death of Wit, but not enough.
You could tell Gin and Tonic had that itchy trigger finger. That 80
it.
carry mindset was like, oh, he's run everything. Mans can go in. I can pop this fool. But great show of composure to say, you know what? I shouldn't. I don't know where the rest of the team is. Let's be careful and take this big-ass gold that I have back to base. Picks up a Zeal. Every lane is just so far ahead for DZG at this point. This is where now DZG have usually struggled in the past to say, okay, how do we transition this into the mid lane, into the mid game? How can we continue to snowball off every lead that we have in every role? How can we continue to just continue to strangle Reign of Kings of gold? They can now back up to 4K. It was 3K a moment ago. Their win con, take your pick. I mean, at this point, like you can put your win con anywhere, and you know someone will be able to carry. They don't know they're on a ward here though.
Oh, that's going to be the hook going forward, but it's also Power Refinet down here. Leroy's going to be the target. He's going to take a lot of damage the whole time going over the top. That was a beautiful interrupt coming in from Eclipse to stop Wit, but Tower will take down Eclipse. Wit will be the next to fall as Jarvan gets a little bit of a spear thrust forward. Wit falls. DZG pick up 2 quick kills. for one in the bot lane, but I don't think we're done yet. Octo's going forward, looking for Slappy. The power or the pillar will knock him out, but not in the direction. That is going to be the free ultimate there out of Slappy. Tofu still holding on to his, and DZG just striking across the map.
Yeah, this is just looks. I mean, even when you look at the comps on both sides, you would think that Reign of Kings has a better looking comp of the two, but DZG, this is comfort for everyone. Like, they're just playing what they're comfortable with, and going 0-2 first of all, maybe they've reverted to like, hey, the hell with a comp idea. Let's just play what we know as Mobs the Penguin.
Flashing forward does get to flash out of Renji, and Mobs for looking so aggressive.
It's good to see him flashing forward. Like, I love seeing this aggression from Mobs the Penguin. No, I genuinely do, because a lot of the times you have to think, okay, I'm a Cassiopeia, I have to wait, I have to scale to be able to do something. He's so strong compared to Renji, he can afford to just say, you know what, I can just be stupidly aggressive and still come out on top. Even though it was a trade of flash for flash, think about what DZG gets here. They get the second Herald here. They can use this as a crack, probably most likely either, I would imagine they would take this top to continue to get Tofu to going, because mid lane shouldn't be long for the world, to be honest with you. I would imagine Mobs the Penguin would take it down on this wave, considering Renji has backed what it looks like he is doing. He is still stepping forward.
Monster Penguin now is going to be stepping out of everything, trying to get this tower. It is still first tower. The ultimate comes in, but the face was not presented. Monster Penguin now taking a lot of damage, and it's going to be Monster Penguin probably falling, walks right into the Swain, and they will fall. Nestegi, you think will fall here, but did get a little bit of healing back. That Eclipse doing work. I'm sorry, Conqueror doing work, but I think the Ignite finally got it. Eclipse now going to be the target and will fall as well. So it looks like a nice little 2-for-1 there for the side of Reign of Kings. But DZG, they got the mid tower, they got the top tower, still coming out favorably for this. Now Power with the net taking a little bit of a, kind of locked up scenario there, stepping in the glue, but it's not going to be enough as the play can't rip them through the wall. And DZG, the fight didn't go in their favor, but the objective control that they got, definitely fantastic. And 18 seconds with this Infernal Drake has to feel damn good for them.
It's you think that if you think on the side of Reign of Kings, you think, all right, it's great. We killed Mobs the Penguin. We were able to kill Eclipse as well, and we kind of get a 2-for-1. Yes, we lost tower at that point. But think about where the gold sits on DZG. Almost all the gold is heavily on Gin and Tonic and Okutofu as well. Like, if you're not able to kill one of these two, comparing the goal between two, as we see a TP coming in from the Aatrox.
Oh, this is going to be something here. Leroy goes after Gin.
Good jump.
Just Rocket jumps away. Now the Cataclysm comes through. Power for Ethernet looking beautiful on that. Genitonic goes go like Peloton coming up the top, but Eclipse is there to interrupt it. Wit is going to be on the chopping block. Tofu on a rampage, and now Slappy is getting chased down by Tristana. And there was so much to see there. It was so absolutely beautiful play. The Cataclysm with the flag and drag to safety. The damage coming in from DCG, Cassiopeia, Gin and Tonic doing work. Morpheus, DCG is firing on all fucking cylinders tonight.
Here we go, and we've got the Herald going bot lane as well. Tofu's like, I want some gold, fam. This one's going to be mine right here. I'll tell you right now, if Gin and Tonic had flash up at the end of that, he probably would have flash chasing over Renji as well. You could tell he really wanted it by the way he was moving forward. Gold continues to go into their pockets. We have exploded from a 4K gold lead 3 minutes ago to now, oh, never mind, Tofu wants some more.
It's going to be the Herald charging in, and Power of Ethernet getting a little bit locked up. Renji is now looking to pop the ultimate forward, but Eclipse just going to dash this one out. Are they going to chase it here? And I don't think they have what they need to. Flappy getting some damage on the top side might get this objective bounty, but I think it's a doom and gloom scenario for the side of Reign of Kings in this game.
Yeah, you're really going to have to put Tofu into wherever Slappy is, because there's no way Slappy can fight Tofu at this point. Gin and Tonic has shown here, though, is moving forward through a humongo minion wave.
He's looking for the damage. He will take a couple shots there, buster shot backwards.
You may not win this.
I didn't want that. He goes ahead and just jumps out, and looks like a lot of healing coming in there from Slappy. But look at these items here for the side of both teams. You have a Gore Drinker complete for Slappy compared to a Bork Divine Sunder. In the juggle, you have the Gore Drinker to one item, so that one's fairly even. But look at the mid lane. You have the Rylai's, you have the Landry's compared to a Landry's, and he also has a fully stacked tier. Whenever he gets that Ferris Embrace up, it's going to be absolutely devastating for the side of Reign of Kings here. So DZG just on a timer, and poor Wit can't even finish his Mirror Mana, let alone finish an item.
It's like what we said earlier, right? You need to put, as far as where you're going to be putting everyone right now, you need to put them as where they continue to be strongest. Put Tofu where Slappy is, because Slappy can't go near him at this point. You can either put most of Penguin there as well, because he has the Rylai. He's like, what is he going to do? You can't dash out of it. You can't really jump to most of Penguin to kill him, because he will have the advantage. He will have the range advantage, but he does find him now, though.
Well, Monster Penguin's going to try to fight Slappy here, and Slappy does not want it. Now we're seeing Lilia being run down by Eclipse here. Power Ethernet decided to rebound onto Slappy, ticking and falls. Slappy is the first one to go down. Now Astega getting some damage back onto Eclipse, but will fall for it. Bullet time coming in. Reggie is looking for Genotonic. Genotonic forced to flash out. Now Teleport coming in. That's going to be Awkward Tofu joining in this fight. Now the hook coming in from Monster Penguin. Renji running this out with a beautiful blast code over the wall. Flag and drag connects. Reggie will fall. Genotonic. Legendary. As DZG just take down 3. You're seeing the pings coming out in a nap. And I haven't even had time to talk about it, but DZG should take this objective so damn fast. They have an Eclipse, they have a Kraken Slayer Tristana, they have a Leandries Cassiopeia. This should fall so damn fast with this.
Yep, they are, after this, I'm counting right out that they are officially up by more than a bag for those little children out there. That is 10 Gs. Everything is gone in the way of the DZG right now. This Tristana is huge. I mean, IE coming up third, comparing it to where, unfortunately, is just that, you know, an item and a half. Like, what do you continue to build as a misfortune? That last fight was a little bit closer than we would have liked to have seen, purely because the team seemed a little bit split on the calls. The TP coming in from Tofu at the time kind of seemed to help clean things up. I don't want to see the team get overconfident. I want them to say, hey, you know what, we're going to keep this simple, like we've been doing so right now, and just continue to say, we're going to continue to just slap them with our wallets. The rest of Reign of Kings should not be able to match in either situation, despite his Genotonic has seen Slappy. He might want to go for round 2 here.
Going in, rocket jump forward. Now Slappy is going to get immediately Buster Shot backward. Now Renji will fall as Tofu just says, I don't care about your tower. You're not as safe as you think you are, big boy. Astega is now posturing in the top side. He's kind of been the shining light for the side of Reign of Kings. Any potential plays that they have really seem to have been coming off this individual in the jungle here, but it hasn't been enough. Slappy looking forward to try to stop some of this pressure on the tower, but I think that this is not going to be long for the world, as that explosive satchel does so much. Astega trying to throw stuff over, hook coming in, does not connect, and that tower will fall. Genotonic going for it, chemicals him as well. Slappy forced to flash out. Oh, Tofu just smacking the fuck out of this tower. You have to think what's going to be next to the chopping block, and yeah, slowed down by the pillar. Oh my god, he's about
Give me that ass!
Now, when is able to flash backwards, and now it's going to actually be Octofu bit off a little more than you can do there, looking into the base towers. Now, Hook will connect onto a minion, but I think Leroy is going to die for it. Monster Penguin will take Leroy down. Thresh falls down.
Good ult.
Coming out as Genotonic goes legendary. Oh no, Genotonic looking a little bit of trouble. Rocket jumps away. He's still burning though, and he will fall. Swain gets that kill. I'm not sure exactly what that was. I think that was Leandre's burn that did it, but Renji looking forward. Monster Penguin stepping out of the W there from Swain. And DZG forced a retreat, lost 2 members, gave 2 shutdowns over, but took a lot of space in the process here, Morpheus.
So there's 2 sides to this story, right? DZG took a ton. They ended up taking 3 or 4 towers, not quite the inhibitor, taking 2 kills of them as well, but they gave over 2 huge shutdowns. Tofu died to Wit, as well as Mobster Penguin, sorry, not Mobster Penguin, Genotonic also dying to Renji as well. Ideally, they're not the places you want to give the gold back to, but at the same time, they took so much as far as objectives goes, they ended up growing their gold lead. So even though there was almost a 2k shutdown that was handed over to Reign of Kings, DZG still ended up growing their gold lead by another 2,000. So they ended up gaining 4k almost out of it. With the Drake going on here, though, if you're the side of Reign of Kings, you can afford to give this up. You don't have to fight for this Drake. But you have one more opportunity. Just continue to just try and get gold into your carries before you attempt to fight him again. Saying that, though, to answer the question by Macrise in chat, is Manamune Rush still normal for AD Misfortune? If you are going for the poke build, yes, the idea of it is that you'll be spamming your E so much. You should be spamming it on cooldown just to be able to get the stacks up, and then going into your mythic of choice. Going into Sherelle II, it seems like, hey, we just need something to be able to shred through the level of beef that they have and trying to provide a little bit more utility, because it allows MF to completely slow within her ultimates. But at this point, you just think, you know, I just have to try and be as efficient as I can with my gold with what little gold that they've been getting.
Well, we're seeing the 4-1 coming out here, and that's not an explanation. Wit's trying to do everything he can to stay in this game. No Mythic coming in. Might not even finish a Mythic before this game is over. Now, Octofu is going to be fighting here onto Slappy. He does not think that the rest of the collapse is there. DZG just got to let him walk out, but that's the ultimate coming in from Lilia. A lot of damage coming out here now onto Octofu, and the rest of DZG look like they're going to be focusing on this mid tower, but Monster Penguin comes in to help out his top laner. Slappy is now on the retreat as the rest of DZG are trying to take this inhib. Power of Ethernet tries to get out with the flag and drag, but says, never mind, I'm going to go back in after the play brings him. Leroy is low, but will be enough. Now the next hook does hit Power of Ethernet. He will fall, but damage coming in from Cassiopeia on Slappy will take him down. Hastega will pick up a kill there. Actually, I'm sorry, that was Renji getting that one on Cassiopeia, but Hastega falls for it. He and Hib will go next. DZG get a lot of the base. They lose 3 for it. It's just Tofu, and it's just Gen and Tonic alive in this process here. And DZG, they're breaking the base, but they're also kind of just smacking their heads into it.
They're getting messy. I think is the best way to put it. Like, when you see 3 bot lane trying to chase Tofu and Mr. Penguin shows up, that's a 3v2 bot lane. They can survive by themselves. They don't need the help of the rest of the team. If you're the rest of the team, you have to say, you know what, we have seen 3 bot. Why are we not pushing mid heavily when there's just an open inhibitor there? That should be a free inhib. Instead, what happens is they're not able to continue to chase down the 3 that were in the bot lane. They end up converging first upon the mid lane, and DZG ends up losing there for it. So all they really got out of it was the 1 inhibitor. Baron's coming up in less than a minute, which will buy them some pressure because of super minions going through the bot lane. Someone there will have to answer it. Most likely it will be Slappy, even though both Slappy and Renji have TP. You'd rather have the you'd rather have the Swain already near the Baron pits. There is more gold slowly going into the pockets of Reign of Kings, but DZG are getting sloppy here, and Power of Ethernet does get hooked again. Just keep this clean, focus the objective. When you take the, if the next Baron does go into DZG and they don't lose anyone, it should be game from there onwards as Eclipse gets found out, but is able to jump out.
Well, we are seeing a lot of great hooks coming in from the Leroy to try to save some of this game. Power of Ethernet kind of got put in a little bit of a bounce house there, like just getting yanked back in and out, as he was trying to flag and drag through, but you know, it's just there's still levels of CC that you have to be safe with, and that's one of them, especially if you're fighting up the numbers disadvantage. Speaking numbers disadvantage, Tofu walking through the topside jungle, that's Ignite out, he's going to be taken down very low, but he is healing so
They're not
much.
killing him!
No, it will not be. He does stall for time as DZG will take out the Nash and get their enemy jungle for the trouble. Genotonic goes over the wall. A lot of damage out from the his hourglass. Coming in for Renji. Will buy time, but will be enough. Genotonic repostures. Looking for it now. Will he get the resets? That's going to be Renji falling. That's going to be Leroy falling here. Now we have to think. Wit next to the chopping block will be enough. That's so damn close. But a triple kill for Wit. Slappy is the only member left of Reign of Kings, first Mobster Penguin being the only member left to DZG. They got the Nash. They got 4 kills on each side. DZG, it's unfortunate that these are going even, but Octofu getting himself caught up a little bit there with the Nash steal. I'm sorry, stall. Was beneficial, but it's now all up to Mobster Penguin and what he's able to do with this. You have 2 seconds coming up on Hastega, and now DZG, they have to be very smart with how they play around this 1 Nash that they have.
It's Slappy. I don't know if it's a spectator bug on our end, but does Slappy not have the... Oh, never mind. Mobster Penguin finding Hastega.
No,
that was still goes down.
He's grounded, he's burning, and he's dead as Mobster Penguin takes not just the tower, but also the jungle of Reign of Kings yet again. But we have 42 seconds on this Drake. Hastega is down for 33. They're looking to maybe triple inhib them if they're able to get these waves what they want, but no, it's just going to be the rush for this Infernal Drake, and DZG with Infernal Solar can be absolute menace to society.
So 2 things. I would want to see if Slappy actually had TP for that fight, because I don't know, or if it was a spectator bug, because he had TP that entire time. There was a ward in which he was able to go in just above the red buff, as you could see on the minimap there, and didn't choose the TP. Had he had TP'd into that, I genuinely think DZG would have fully lost that fight. But
wow, there's definitely the possibility, but Renji getting the never move in, or ultimate in forward. Mobster Penguin needs to flash out. Teleport now coming in.
Tofu's coming in.
To win this, but there's 4 members of the side of Reign of Kings here. Eclipse is now here. The hook goes wide. Hastega looking forward. Now, what's Eclipse going to do? Is he going to go in? They're both rooted. That was a huge
fight, boys!
Time on the top. The Penguin is down the target. Hastega doing a lot of damage. No, Octofu is in the middle of 4 members of Reign of Kings. DZG did get the Infernal Drake in the process, but they are trading these objectives for so many of their lives. That is 5 members alive for the side of Reign of Kings, and DZG lost both Eclipse and Tofu in that fight.
Was so unnecessary. The Drake was free. That was a free Drake. There was no need to walk forward. You walk back towards your team. Yes, DZG is still 11-12k up, but we're getting to the point in the game where the opponents are starting to get gold in their pockets. Renji is suddenly at 3 items. Where did that come from? Whip just bought a full Eclipse. Yeah, he just bought a full Eclipse on those last back. Like, there's gold going into these pockets now. Gin and Tonic has only died twice, but the two times he's died were both shutdowns. Gold has been going into straight pockets. They're thinking, hey, we can potentially 3v4 or 3v5 this. You can't fight unless you have both Gin and Tonic and Mobster Penguin there. Both have to be there. Both these are your damage threats. You can put Tofu into another lane to continue to fight Slappy, but that is now starting to look a little bit more of an even matchup because item set wise, Tofu only has a chain vest advantage over him, so the gold is fairly somewhat even there as well. It's starting to even out, even though they have Infernal here. DZG, you have to think, hey, let's just play this slow and play it together. We don't want to be caught one after the other. This isn't Street Fighter where you ask a new opponent has arrived. Keep this together, play it 5v5, and you should close this game out.
Absolutely, or even just do a 4-1 here, but DZG are going to be posturing heavily. 5-man up this mid lane, they're looking for this inhibitor. Now we're looking for the big engage trigger. Is it going to come from Leroy with the hook? He connects onto Tofu, but low enough. Power Ethernet looks forward, and now Slappy is dropping some Qs as well. Another hook connects, that one's on the Power Ethernet, but we're still not seeing it. I think that was the Ignite coming in, potentially, but now we're seeing the damage. Slappy taking and burning. Cassiopeia does so much. Now, Volt Tap coming up the top, it will take down a clip. That's not who you want to kill. Tofu goes for sleep, Monster Penguin cutting this one out, but that is still a lot of damage. Goes gold. Now Histeka is going to be doing a lot of damage here. DZG, they have nobody left alive. 4 members dead. Monster Penguin, the only one left. And Reign of Kings, like that, strike back. And only lose Slappy.
What's going on, boys? This should have
Now,
been free.
this one out, he will take down Leroy. Is now unstoppable, but that is still not enough to redeem that play. They got mid lane in hit, but DZG need to ask, what did it cost? And the answer was almost everything.
It's now you know, but I don't even think the goal difference makes much of a point at this time. Even though yes, you have Gin and Tonic, who is more or less still, I'd say maybe a third of an item up now. You have to think, where is all of the gold coming from? And while they do have Infernal, think about the rest of Reign of Kings. Like they are starting to scale now. They've got items in their pockets. Wit hurts. Wit's have 4 items. Where did this cleaver come from? I can tell you where it came from. It came from another shutdown. Okay, it's got 10 kills, and he's got another shutdown onto Gin and Tonic. What Renji and Slappy are doing a great job of just buying as much time as they can. Leroy's hit the last 4 hooks in a row. I believe 2 of them hit Power over Ethernet, and 1 of them hit Tofu as well, which is the one that ended up going in on. Now, this is scary now for DZG. You do have Soul, but one big loss of a team fight now can result in your own base being torn to shreds. Even in the middle of December, Eclipse is going in somewhere.
He looked for it, but did not get it. Now it will be DZG just kind of fizzing out on this engage. That hook looks so damn close to connecting. But you're absolutely right. Leroy has been an absolute menace to Power over Ethernet in this game. Hook, flay. Like, I can't tell you how many flag drags I've just seen. Now we're seeing the recalls. Now Octofu is trying to take this and hit, but that's going to be bringing Renji to join Slappy to stop that. DZG are turning their sights onto the Snash. We have teleports available from both Renji, from Slappy. Tofu has his, Mobster has his, but he's already here.
No ulti.
It's going to be a very fast one. This is going to be a damn close ball time. It was a steal! Lilia take that! And DZG did lose the clips. They lost Power over Ethernet, but they got the bot lane inhibitor. Now Slappy is going to be fighting Tofu, but Tofu is not looking to win this one. Renji is here as well, and that's going to be 80 carry for 80 carry down there in that fight. But Slappy falls. Leroy is not going to be the target. Monster Penguin doing a lot of work here. This is all over the place. Tofu going to be fighting Renji, but Monster Penguin teleporting into the Nexus here as well. Renji is going to be damn close to taking down. He does actually take down Tofu. Now it's going to be Monster Penguin versus Histeka, and Renji will be enough. The ultimate comes through. That will stop Histeka. Will be enough to kill. It is. Now Renji going to be in the 1v1 versus Monster Penguin, but he does have the Nash.
He's got time.
He's got some time. And DZG, oh, it was all over the place. They got the steal they got the Nash taken from them. They took some of the base, but oh, this game is now so damn close. The gold lead was sitting at 12K. Most of the game is now down to 7, but you said it. I don't think it matters.
My brain just melted. Like, there was no need to coin flip a Baron there. You had numbers advantage. You knew there was 2 people bot lane. The jungler, yes, Hestago blown prior to the fight happening, Hestago had burned ulti early and only got Jin and Tonic, but Jin and Tonic was out of the pit. But there was no need for a Baron flip there. You're much stronger when you have a numbers advantage. Like, you can potentially bait it out. Tofu did a great job of pulling 2 people down his way. This is what we said at the beginning of the game. We need to see DZG be able to close out the games. Wit is now as effective as it may be on the same Einstein levels as Gin and Tonic. We are at an Elder now. This could be the end of the game right here.
Now 4K, 3K, 2K, 1K. DZG have the Elder. Leroy is going to be up on the chopping block. He will fall. Aatrox now going to be run down by Gin and Tonic because he's trying to blast Cone out. And he will be running, but he walks right into a wall. He falls. Gin and Tonic takes him down. DZG now have the minion wave in the mid lane, and they're going to be pushing this one up. You have to think this is going to be the game. There is only one Nexus tower remaining. DZG, 5 members strong. 2 members of the side of Raiding Kings are dead. DZG going to be clearing through this minion wave. It's going to be up to some sort of miracle from Renji, Wit, and Hostega here, but I don't know if they can hold on. But I've seen the absolute chaotic of this game so far, so I have no expectations anymore. This tower, boom, boom, dead. Tarja on Hostega. Bullet time finally interrupted on Wit, and Wit will be picking and maybe going down. Renji goes, he will go down. DZG in a heartbreaking fashion will take game 1 of the series.
So it took a 12k gold lead, it took 2 Barons, it took an Infernal Drake, and it took an Elder Drake, but they finally get the win. That endgame, it was all going really, really well up until about the 25-minute mark. Mobster Penguin with the Giga Massive damage at 56,000 damage for that game. I do want to point something out, though. We said, look at the 80 carries. That's exactly what I was going to say. Compare Gin and Tonic to Wit. Wit was behind almost by 2 items for the majority of that game. And still, they bought so much time that Wit was still able to do more damage than Gin and Tonic. If I'm DZG, I'm glad that we won. I'm wiping that sweat off my brow because that could have easily have turned the other way.
So many things to talk about when we get into the Game 2 draft and things that we saw here, but one of the things that I want to talk about that game specifically is in the lane phase. Eclipse was doing such a damn good job on that recon, interrupting almost every crucial bullet time and making sure that himself and Gin and Tonic had the angles to make sure. But in the late game, it's like DZG forgot about the angles that Misfortune really needs to set up a bullet time. They were like, okay, let's all stand in the middle of an ash pit and let Misfortune stand in the back of the pit and just bullet time into us. Like, that, I think, was more crucial than Hostega coming in with the steal. Like, it really set up the chaos to enable him to do that. But DZG, you had a fantastic early game. The mid game was pretty strong too, but like in that mid to late transition to the late game, it just got so damn sloppy. We saw so many different elements where DCG was playing it safe, bringing Tofu down to the Drake when he wasn't necessarily needed, and then they were like, okay, cool, full tilt, and then it slipped. So getting that calm, cool, collected posture is going to be very important for game 2, Morpheus.
Yeah, if I'm DZG, I'm thinking, all right, first 20 minutes, brilliance. Every leg, brilliance. Like, everyone did their bloody good job at it. When you're 12k up, there should be no need to go in one after the other to fight. You're not like a 20-0 Yasuo where you can 1v2, 1v3. You just have to continue to play the game what you're doing. Put Tofu in a side lane, pull attention while the other 4 of you group up and continue to take objectives like they started to do, but it didn't continue to do that. I'm glad to see them win, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fantastic that they were able to pull out game 1. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be heading into a quick delay here as we will get ourselves postured for game 2 of DZG Olympus First Reign of Kings. But hey, real quick, don't forget that it's not just Metafy supporting us during this time. We also have Dubby. Want some energy? Feeling a little bit down? Need a little bit of pick me up and go? Don't forget to grab some energy from Dubby. Go ahead and get that in the chat. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be seeing you shortly for the Game 2 draft.
just hold on for dear life. Yeah, I can't give up this feeling that I get when looking down from this high. When I'm with you, when I'm with you, I'm with you, that I get when looking down from this high. Just hold on for dear life. Yeah, I can't give up this feeling that I get when looking down from the sky. When I'm with you, when I'm with you, I can't give up this can't stay in my feet. What I'm gonna do if I want to? But you know, baby, break my mind and take. But you have the key, so open my place, my place. I can't stay in my feet. What I'm gonna do if I really want to? But you know, baby, break my mind, break my mind. So open my place, my mind. So place, my mind. So open my place, my mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back as now it's going to be Reign of Kings versus DZG Olympus, as we did get a little bit of a slide swap-a-roo. Damn, I need to stop using tongue twisters. But anyway, once again here, joined by Morpheus, and we're going to see some adaptations here, and that is exactly what we want to see coming out from the side of Reign of Kings, because laning phase did not go in their way. But Morpheus, what are some of the biggest adaptations that you want to see for these picks and bans?
I'm very curious to see where the Trundle goes, because Reign of Kings and DZG both have priority on it. Haystaga is currently 7-1 this split in solo queue on the Trundle, so that tells me that may be a high priority here. I think if you're Reign of Kings, you ban the Trundle and see if DZG will ban the Sivir though, because if they do ban the Trundle, if they leave the Sivir to through, then you just take that B1. She is probably the best AD carry right now. The Cassiopeia and the okay, so now they've put Reign of Kings in a really big pickle. What do you take? You take the Sivir here. If they leave, there you go. That tells DZG, hey, we can still take the Trundle on our side. and still keep that as a flex between if they want to send it between Tofu or Power over Ethernet. But this was a good adaptation by both sides, though.
I'm so scared to see the Sivir coming in, but the Cogmaw hover, the Cogmaw lock, that is going to be scaling versus scaling, and that's going to be super interesting. As Cog Lulu, they don't even take the Trundle here, Morpheus.
Trundle's actually, it doesn't matter so much because you have the Lulu Poly. And you have the wild growth as well. Like, how is Trundle going to catch a Cogmaw who's able to... We have seen Ghost on a lot of Cogmaws in the bot lane. So, if Cogmaw has Ghost, and has a movement speed increase, and has wild growth, and has Poly to protect him, you need some heavy dive, #Malphite levels to be able to get to him. Amumu coming through, this Amumu support here.
The double bandage toss going in, and we saw the Leroy hit so many hooks last game. Now, Thresh is a lot less risk-inducing, a bit more risk-adverse, I guess. If he hits a hook, he doesn't have to go. Mumu, he's in there. So Bandage Shaw's coming out for the Sad Mummy. That's going to be an interesting pick, piloted by the side of the Leroy here. But Reign of Kings, they have a little bit of the dive, and Wukong, that's another answer to pilot it, and an immediate pocket of the Talia here for the side of DZG. This is definitely going to be a different game, too.
Yeah, this is straight comfort for Mobster Penguin. Talia is arguably his most played champion in competitive as a whole. We see the Trundle on the side. These bans are coming in quick and fast, bro. Vex, Silas, and Trundle are off the table. They don't want to deal with the Trundle from last game. Let's be frankly honest here, though. This tells me that they will be saving final pick for Tofu in the top lane. Again, being able to give him that rock to be able to get by him as much time as he can to be able to scale. If you're on the side of Return of Kings, though, these are great bans, and that Vex being banned against you is actually terrible because you want to continue to move forward. Like, you have to get to this backline Cogmaw. Amumu has a way of being able to get in and get the stun. Wukong also has a way to get in as well. Sivir we're seeing a theme popping up with Reign of Kings draft here where they're saying, we want to just run at you. We want to just get to that backline as quick and as heavily as we can and make you panic to do so. But if they don't do it within the instant of the Sivir ultimate, within the Amumu R and the Wukong going there as well, then it immediately shifts into the favor of DZG if they do not kill off this Wukong.
I've got 2 words for you, Morpheus.
Cogmaw,
Maybe
sorry.
one, depending. But Death Fall. Like, that is what Reign of Kings want. They are.
We just need the Malphite here. That's all you need.
Unit. Oh, 100%. Especially, you know me. I am all for a Malphite. But Sejuani coming here for the side of DCG will offer them a little bit of some protection here, but that is not what I was expecting. The Camille coming in here, you have to imagine that's going to be piloted by Slappy. Wukong opting to probably go into the jungle here now. But, man, we saw Octofu handle Slappy so well on the top side of the map last game, that Aatrox versus Trundle. And one of the things that I was going to mention is, hey, give Slappy something a little bit more safe. Have him, just kind of not opt into a full aggressive, but maybe, that's going to be the top lane Sejuani here from the side of DCG. That is always a possibility as well. And Victor rounding this out, that's going to be one hell of a damage-heavy comp. But they've got not too much in the way of frontline. DCG coming in here now with the second meatball, coming with the Ornn, and that is something that you said in Game 1 that you were scared, if you were a fan of Reign of Kings, to see coming in for the hands of Octofu.
Yeah, I think the jungle support here, the jungle top lane pack picks here were like, hey, we know what we're picking because of how quickly they came and locked in. So Sejuani in the hands of Power over Ethernet. Tofu taking this on top lane. He turns this guy into an assassin at this point. My big thing for Reign of Kings is you have Renji on this Victor. Will need time to scale, and then you'll also have Camille in the top lane for Slappy. You're really trying to just single out or lock someone down, and while Camille really does do that really well, you're kind of having to choose. Do you do it to the Talia or to the Cogmaw? But on the side of DCG, you have to think, okay, we need to save a lot of our tools, because if Camille goes in, we use the Poly on her. Okay, do we need to save the Wild Growth in case Wukong goes in? Do we need to save the Slows in case Amumu goes in? I do like both teams as far as drafting goes right now, but both are like, hey, we have a heavy carry on both sides in the 80s in both Sivir and Cogmaw. Mid lane, Talia is just as comfort as it gets for Mobster Penguin. Pilots the champion really, really well. This is just straight comfort for DZG again. It's just going to be like Game 1, just put slightly different champs.
And there's so many different elements of this game to break down. Like, I love the Talia pick here. Yeah, cool. Poppy says people can't dash in, but, Talia says, hey, go ahead and dash. I dare you. Strip off a few rocks, and Camille can just go from 100 to 0 if she goes ahead and hook shots through some rocks. But we are seeing from the side of Reign of Kings, Camille in the top lane, Wukong in the jungle, Victor mid lane with a Sivir Amumu bot lane. And from the side of DZG, everybody, we have Ornn top lane, Sejuani jungle, Talia in the mid lane with a Kog'Maw Lulu in tried and true fashion for Gin and Tonic and Eclipse in that bot lane. We see everybody. You talked about the comps that the different elements of each individual team that you really like to see, and just one thing that I want to mention is DZG. I feel like they need to pick apart the coordination of the side of Reign of Kings to really have the most ideal chance. Because you're absolutely right. In onesies and twos, they're fine. Lulu is able to protect Kog'Maw. There's so many different elements to really be able to help out here. But if the side of Reign of Kings is firing on all cylinders, they have the synergy. Camille, Wukong, and Leroy are all on the same page here, then that's going to be a really hard time for Kog'Maw to be able to survive this one out. And, Sejuani and Ornn really have to layer down some of their protective tools as well, so it's going to be super exciting to see here, Morpheus.
I think this game comes down to two things. One, if does Slappy end up getting put behind heavily again? Because obviously the more gold you feed into Ornn, the higher level he gets, he's able to get those ornaments out quicker. Two, and I think this is the bigger one, this is Wit versus Gin and Tonic. Like, both of these AD carries have the potential to shell out so much damage, particularly at 3 items, 2 to 3 items. And you have front lines of both teams that say, hey, we want to try and buy as much time for them as we can. Yeah, I think this will really just come down to positioning and spacing. And as we saw from game 1, Gin and Tonic's not afraid to go forward and to be able to commit for a kill. And while Wit's laning phase was fairly weak, if you're able to get that again to that late game like they were with the Misfortune, it can just end up being a coin toss as to who ends up winning the game for you.
Certainly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are heading into that 3-minute spectator delay, so hang tight. We'll be bringing you hopefully another bang-up game of DZG Olympus versus Reign of Kings. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are taking to the Rift once again. DZG with a 5-man rush on that bot side. Or, I'm sorry, 5-man fan out. And the blue side is coming in with the 5-man rush for the bot side here. So, different sides, but different same strategies here for either side. As this one's looking a lot more aggressive here, Morpheus.
Oh, dun dun.
Gin and
Dun dun.
tonic.
Dun 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 dun
There's
dun
a
dun dun dun.
bandage toss available.
There is. I want to see some commitment. I mean, Leroy Jenkins this, but on the other side. Yeah, they're not going anywhere, are they? Oh, this makes me so sad. Oh, never mind. Come on, man. You can't just tease me, brother. Either go in or piss off. One of the two.
No, there's a lot of patience here, but I don't think it's warranted. I want to see the aggressive. I think this channel is going to actually go through, and it does. So, Slappy going up to the top side of the map. And one thing that I do love about this Elo, Morpheus, is I'm seeing the flashless Camille. So, yeah, Slappy got slapped around last game, but he is still having the confidence to play the flashless Camille. I casted the gold game last week, and Camille had flash. I about cried. Naturally, the Camille flash lost, so exactly what you'd expect. But we are seeing the aggressive now for Leroy is leading this one up, but there's 3 members of DZG here. They're looking for this aggressively. Bandage toss has to be coming out shortly. It does connect onto Eclipse here. Eclipse taking a lot of damage, forced to flash out. Now Power Ethernet is going to be taking some damage as well. Second bandage toss hits Genitonic. He's going to have to flash out here. That's 2 flashes coming from the side of DZG, along with the exhaust there for the cost of Leroy's Ignite, and DZG are going to get forced out of this buff. But now Monster Penguin is coming around. Another bandage toss hits Power Ethernet, and the members of the side of the blast thrown over! Power Ethernet! He will not live, as he will be taken down. Stiver gets the first blood this game, and last time we saw what happens when Native Carry gets first blood. It cannot look too great, but I think they lost both. They did. The smite did go over to Hestega. He did get the buff, and DZG also lost the first blood. That was so much not going in their favor there.
I really think that Blast Cone was an accidental click or Withead hit it. Because there's no way you intentionally want to go in with that, considering it's just 2 of you.
Oh, absolutely not. Power Ethernet was so damn low.
Yeah, it just didn't make sense. But first blood over to Reign of Kings here, onto the Civet. It's like you said, going it onto the best person they could have possibly been last game. It was on the Gin and Tonic. Top lane, I think this is just going to be a boring matchup, to be honest with you, until we start seeing ganks up there. Bot lane, Gin and Tonic and Eclipse will probably just want to sit back a little bit and just trade whenever the Cogmore W is up, because it gives them the extended range and the more damage as well. Not a great start if you are DZG, though. Already a little bit behind, but in essence, can't let that phase you too much. We saw what happened with Reign of Kings last game. They just stayed in it until the end.
Well, mental is always a huge factor in these games, especially, oh, now we're having a gate coming in. Power Ethernet coming into Renji. That was a good boulder toss backwards, but it wasn't ideally where you want it. But the stun comes out. Renji's going to be ticking. Will it be enough? And the rocks do not fully connect. Renji living with a sliver, but is forced to burn the flash there. DZG with a beautiful gank in the middle lane.
MVP. Oh, the minions, because they saved that man's bacon right there. My guy was about to get his hex core blown up. Really good gank by Power of Ethernet. He did burn the flash out. TP has also been burned by Renji as well, so you technically got 2 sums. I would love to see Power of Ethernet come back into this mid lane in the next minute or 2. I would assume Monster Penguin may potentially back right here, as Hestaga's been seen. The Orna's moving over as well by Tofu. But you would want to see Power of Ethernet back, because of Flash's Victor early on is still a great piece to be able to gank back onto.
Oh, absolutely. And if you're able to unlock this Talia to be able to get shoved, and then use the rock wall to get to where she needs to be to upset some of these lanes, then that's ideal. Leroy running around the river here, trying to make sure that Wukong's safe. Now looking here, maybe aggressively, no bandage toss comes out, Gin and Tonic and Eclipse. Just kind of sitting this one back, doing exactly what they should. They should not play this aggressively. They should just chill, wait for the right opportunities to look for bringing Power over Ethernet down. But not off to a great start, as this gold lead's already at 1K.
Yeah, 1K is actually pretty darn big right now, as we see more fighting going on mid lane. Ooh. Tofu is about to assassinate Slappy, but otherwise, because cannon minions are terrifying at this point in the game.
Oh, 100%. But Slappy, once again, not looking the favor in this matchup. Oh my God, Slappy just gets slapped around yet again. Power Ethernet is on the top side of the map. It is Flash's Camille, but Hookshot is absolutely huge. Fortunately for the side of Slappy, he should not be looking to use that aggressively with that HP bar, so just going to reset here probably. Now he's going to walk this one back up. Doesn't look like he's going to burn that teleport, but I might be wrong. Nope, hookshot goes forward, so he's going to be walking up to the top lane. But, you know, fantastically done for the side of Tofu, getting that CS lead, forcing him out, but now he's going to have to deal with the Sheen, and Camille still does hit pretty fairly hard with the second use of that Q. It's going to be Ocean Drake up first for the map as DZG's taking the resets on the bot side, picked themselves up some Zerker Greaves for the side of a Noon Quiver here. Power Ethernets looking for Renji again, no flash, one Victor, and I'd love to see it here. Morpheus, I would love to see it, but I don't think we're going to get the action as Hestega moves forward and DZG are going to pull back.
Yeah, I mean, you're comparing on both sides. One thing to throw out is, remember, Camille has a Cho'Gath ultimate as a regular ability, so she will take
Drake
chunks
started
out
up.
already? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, we see the Drake started up. I mean, they have to. Gin and Tonic and Eclipse can't match. While Kog'Maw does have attack speed 2 boots, he does got his Air Forces on. Can't really compete with a Sivir who's already got a Noon Quiver. That damage profile is just way too different at this point. Kog'Maw really needs at least a full Rage Blade, or Blade of the Rune King ideally would come first, because even the Rage Blade will proc your on-hit abilities twice every 3 seconds. Eclipse is not caught!
That flash, Vanitas, Eclipse is going to be in trouble. He has no way to get out, no flash available, as that was burned in the early game. Genotonic sitting under the tower, I think he should be safe. But,
I can dive him. Wave's coming.
Oh.
They could potentially dive him here. I mean, you have 2 bot. I mean...
I think they're going to walk this one out, but oh man, that is very unfortunate for the side of Eclipse. Now, Power of Ethernet's going to be taking the top side jungle, but DZG just not to a great start this early game. They lost the Drake, they're down at a 1.7k gold deficit, and Ocean Drake feels so damn good for the lane phase. That little bit of sustain that you get after taking a bad trade, you're just like, okay, cool. And I think that's going to be the most crucial for Slappy up there, who's not had the greatest 1v1 trading patterns.
Eclipse has found Leroy as he's just trying. They've been arguing over this vision for the past minute and a half. The big thing is, even though DZG got a big gold lead last game, they didn't get it till about 11-12 minutes. This is already 2k, 1500 to 2k gold lead for Reign of Kings. We're not even at 8 minutes yet. This is actually really big. Damage profiles, if you look on both sides, Renji has item advantage over Mobster Penguin. Hestega has a little bit more over Power of Ethernet, even though both he and Tofu have the Balmy Cinder at this point. Sheen's on the side for Hestega and Snappy, and then Noon Quiver versus Gin and Tonic's Air Forces. Like, it makes it very, very difficult for them to compete, as Wit ends up being running here, but get caught right.
Connect. Eclipse forced to flash out. He just got that back. Second bandage toss connects. Will it be enough? Eclipse going to be running this one out. It's going to be damn close, but Power of Ethernet is on the bot side. We're seeing the jump or the action all over the map. Renji's now getting knocked back. Power of Ethernet looking to come over here and join Mobster Penguin. Great gravity field. Try to slow Mobster Penguin down, but it won't be enough. Power of Ethernet says, I'm going to go for my blue buff, and I think that's going to be all the action fizzling out. 3 different fights on the map, 3 different locations. Now, Octofu getting a lot of damage out here on the Slappy. Not going to be enough to take him down, but that is going to be enough to force the pressure out. Now, Leroy and Hestega here in the jungle. However, Ethernet is going to try to survive this. Mobster Penguin feeling damn low too. Slappy under tower. There's so much going on all over the place.
He's going to tower aggro!
He's got tower echo. Slappy takes out Octofu. What's going on in the rest of the map here? As it will be everybody else fizzling out. Mobster Penguin low, Eclipse low, Tofu dead, and Reign of Kings just every single fight all over the damn Rift is going in their favor.
What the hell just happened? We changed cameras so much. Let's fight across 3 fronts. When Renji and Penguin tried to come bot lane to be able to support whatever was happening in bot lane, they ended up getting into a tangle as well. I don't believe sums were burned on. I believe some Flash was burned by Renji, but Mobster Penguin was able to. It was not did not burn his as well. Rage Knife coming in for Gin and Tonic. It's going to give him a little bit more power. One thing to point out is that, yes, even though the Kog'Maw is behind on damage profile-wise to Wit, the moment he presses W and now has the Rage Knife, he's going to hurt. This Kog'Maw will begin to hurt once he gets to the full item here. As you see Herald being started up, but DZG know this is happening and they don't want to give this for free.
Well, Leroy coming up here to help out has been instrumental to give him a lot of protection on it, but Eclipse is now up here with Power of Ethernet, and I think this objective is going to fizzle out as DZG scare them off of it. And this is still a 2k gold lead, DZG hanging in there, but Octofu going under that tower into the Hextech ultimatum felt really bad to watch. You really felt for him here as Wit is pressuring Gin and Tonic very heavily under this tower. Leah coming down does have access to the ultimate. Are we going to see something here? And I would love to see it, but I think Wit is aware and is going to be walking away from this. So DZG looking to find a pressure point to really try to get something rolling for them, and they're just not finding it.
you have to think on the gold is slowly starting to balloon for Reign of Kings. We're close to, well, we're getting closer to the 2K mark. Even though Tofu, it's unfortunate Tofu just caught just under tower by Slappy. Really good ultimate to be able to keep the Ornn within turret range. Honestly, if that didn't happen, I think Tofu was away and free there. To be honest with you.
No, 100%. He's winning the trades. Just it's a game of inches in some of these cases, but we're not really seeing too much effective pathing or attempts here coming out from Power Ethernet. It's not like he's not looking. It's just that Reign of Kings they really have his number in this game. They have all the right pieces in the game. And Seismic Shove gonna knock just into one rock, but Renji taking a lot of dick there as Octofu fighting once again under the tower. Hextech Ultimatum coming up very shortly for the side of Slappy. I do not want to see a repeat of that history lesson, Morpheus.
Here's one thing I've learned watching Game 1 and 2 as a Tofu and Slappy continue. If they continue to go, obviously, nuts at each other, you go right ahead and call it ham. Here's one thing I've noticed comparing Game 1 to Game 2. Of sheer laning phase presence, DZG tends to be able to be the ones winning out. They seem to be the better laners. But when they get ahead, they're able to then say, okay, we can continue this. But right now, what we're seeing is, even though they're not quite 2K gold down, we're coming back already with a crack and say, Jesus, we're already at 11 items. Same, the exact same point as last game, when Jin and Tonic on the Tristana had the full item. It comes back with a Kraken Slayer here as well, which is, again, the right build path. I've seen people go Gale Force, and I'm like, what's wrong with you, bro? As the Drake also, second Drake ends up going down towards Hestega. If you're looking at both sides, DZG does have I do believe they have the better players one-on-one. It just comes down to saying, hey, can we play better as a 5v5? As people are converging down here. We may see a fight.
Over Ethernet is here. He does have access to the Glacial Prison. Teleport now being channeled. It's going to be putting Wukong into the bounce house. Do they have
Leroy!
Leroy is going to be on the wrong side. Power Ethernet will take them down. That's not where you want the gold to go. You did burn a lot of resources here. Now Mobster Penguin looks. Good seismic shove. Will force Hestega to use the flash. Wukong getting out of that one just barely. But DZG, they pulled a lot of resources down there. I don't think they're going to come up gold positive because Camille should be able to crack these plates up in the top side. And DZG,
Oh, this may call it even though, with the Herald coming down.
Herald will be coming down. We'll get some plates here. That should balance things out a little bit. I forgot that they did take that earlier. But this Drake condition is going to be a little bit scary as well. But, Wukong's buff to his decoy is so damn good. The fact that he is now able to use that through walls makes me want to play League of Legends again, Morpheus.
Renji's
up there. He didn't take any damage, I think, because his auto attack was coming through to give him the shield. But the Chaos Storm coming out, Monster Penguin trying to kite this one out with the rocks, but Chaos Storm doing a ton of damage to Mobster Penguin. Mobster Penguin is sitting here super low. Hestega is in the mid side looking to maybe come in and upset this, and just a quick 1-2 strike should be all she wrote because Hestega does have access to the Cyclone. Yes.
Slappy wants him. Oh, that's the knockup coming through.
Now Hextech Ultimatum coming through. That's going to be a lot of damage. One more auto should do it, and it did. Slappy takes the 1v1. No tower help there. That was pure skill on the matchup there in that fight. And Octofu not looking as hot as he did in game 1.
I mean, Sundara and Cho'Gath are as it.
Bandage shots might come through. Just
walk away,
so damn close. Mobster Penguin ballsy, but the flash forward, and it will be enough. Tower not doing Mobster Penguin there any favors as it just took one shot and said, I want no more. Renji coming through and getting the kill on the Mobster Penguin. DZG, 5 kills to 1. Not looking like the favorite in this early game, for sure. This tower looking deathly low as Slappy is just pounding on it with that Divine Thunder. First tower goes to Slappy.
There's a lot to unravel there. We'll start from one point. If you look at the top lane, okay, Slappy got first tower. This Camille is fully online. Sundara, along with Cho'Gath R as an ability, is able to just shred through Tofu at this point because he doesn't have any resistances to be able to do anything. Then you look at mid lane. I even shouted, I was like, just leave. Like, there's no need to stay there for 2 minions. He ended up wanting to stay for 2 minions, but Renji decided to commit the flash. Maybe Mobster Penguin didn't think that he had the flash or would want to commit, but you're giving more gold over to this Victor, who's now at a full item. I don't know if this is just a blue side thing, but now blue side is again up 4K at 15 minutes. It just happens that the shoe just happens to be on the other foot.
Well, if last game was any story of how a game can flip on its head, I still have faith here for the side of DZG to bring this one back. And, we talk about it being doom and gloom right now, but DZG have, Reigning Kings has Sivir, but DZG have a Kog'Maw Lulu with ornaments. Eclipse is looking down here, probably not going to pull the trigger on anything because Leroy should be able to turn that around with Curse of the Sad Mummy. But these bandage toss from Leroy have been almost as instrumental for the side of Reign of Kings as the hooks were for them in Game 1. Leroy been a standout performer on these quote-unquote hook champions.
I think this is just straight comfort, right? Just give him something to go in on as Jin's going to move forward. Renji got caught, though.
Glacial Prison does miss, but I don't think it's going to be enough for Renji to survive. Monster Penguin will take that one down, as Tofu came down with the Ornhorn as well. That was, I think, 3 ultimates. 2 of them going wide are just not happening. 2 ultimates. Mobster didn't ult. But, yeah, DZG put a lot in that to try to get Mobster Penguin back in this game and free him up. And we haven't seen a single Talia ult, I don't think. Oh no, Histega is now here, has access to the Cyclone, will start the spin to win. Mobster Penguin tries to knock him away, but it will not be enough. Second use of the ultimate, and Histega will take down Mobster Penguin. Tofu trying to hold on to his towers here, try to get some damage on Slappy, but you talked about it. He's online now. We have the person go through. Now the Teleport coming in as well. Wild Growth used on Gin and Tonic. He's trying to kite this out. Renji is down here. Eclipse ticking and is looking dangerously low. Now they're trying to get under the tower, but will it be enough? The side of Reigning Kings have nothing to really pull the trigger and go under this tower, but I think they got what they wanted. Drake is going to be up in 15 seconds, and the side of DZG have no life bars to support this objective, and that's going to be Soul Point very fast for the side of Reign of Kings.
Yeah, props to Eclipse there. Burned that Wild Growth really early, but had he had burned it any later, my guy was dead. Like, just wouldn't have been able to survive it. We are going to see an Infernal Soul coming up at 22 minutes, I believe. It's a 5-minute timer between each strike, so it'll be coming up at 22 minutes. That doesn't give Gin and Tonic time to be able to fully scale. Second item will be the Runans, as we see coming through, considering the number of melees that Reign of Kings does have, which is the right build path to go forward with. DZG's just they're on the other side of what happened last game. They're the ones whose wallets are fairly empty at this point, as Power Ethan is trying to sneak in a Herald here. Does find Slappy though.
Person does connect. Slappy is going to be able to hookshot back over the wall, and Herald will just fizzle out. But no, you hit the nail on the head. But the difference between this game and last is there's a really big pressure point coming up in the next 4 minutes for the side of Reigning Kings to really play around. DZG have to answer an Infernal attempt. But they're going for this Herald right now to try to get some gold back in their pockets. The side of Reigning Kings is coming up to answer, but very slowly. Slappy is not in the ideal position. Able to hookshot once again to safety. Now the rest of Reigning Kings is here. The ultimate coming in from Sivir. Ornhorn coming in from Octofu. Herald does fall. What's able to dodge that one, and I think DZG are just going to walk this one up. Just kidding. Ultimate coming in from Talia. She has good pinch, but she's right in the face of Wit. Will be enough. The Boulder Toss does go wide. Histega is in there. Hits 4 members with the Cyclone. Tofu they got to be next with the chopping block. 3 members to DZG dead. Make that 4. Gin and Tonic will fall. Power over Ethernet falls as well. A clean ace for a Herald DZG. That is not what you want.
I don't understand. You guys got the objective you wanted. Just leave. They were posturing to leave, and then they decided to commit to go forward. Maybe they thought, hey, we can win a 4v5 because Renji is shown bot lane, and I'm assuming the team knew that there was no TP available on the side of the Victor. But it just fell apart. I mean, that seemed like a Hail Mary on the second quarter of the game, and now you're like, okay, they've got the ball, they got a reverse pick 6. I think this game is looking very, very difficult for DZG to come in now, as items are starting to come in for the side of Reigning Kings. Essence Reaver picked up 4 Wit. I don't agree with that as a second item. I know it's more for cooldown than anything else. But still, Reigning Kings, they are in the driver's seat at this point. They are 7k up. The final Drake will be up for them in the next 2.5 minutes. Gin and Tonic won't have time to scale. Mobster Penguin won't have time to scale. I think you have to give up this Drake. If you fight for this Drake and lose, it's game over at that point.
My exact point earlier was there was a pressure point for Reigning Kings to play over, and DZG have to answer that. But instead, DZG answer the Herald that they already had. Like, they got the objective, and you're absolutely right. Just walk that one out. Like, the Talia wall did absolutely nothing, and he walked right into Wit's face. Like, cool. If you're going to do that play, you angle that wall, you block off maybe Wit from joining in.
Oh, there we go, caught.
But that's going to be a Vanish Toss going to Eclipse Wild Growth and not be enough to save him. Now, Gin and Tonic going to be the target if they look for it, but they are happy with what they got. 6K gold lead in the pockets of Reign of Kings, and they can just walk to this Nash if they look, or if they want to. There is a teleport still available from Slappy, and I don't think Tofu is able to fight Slappy in the side lane, and Slappy can chill there all day long. There's only an inhibitor tower left in that bot lane side. Now we're going to see some posturing here on the top side of the map. Leroy still has access to Curse of Sad Money, did not have to use it to take down Eclipse earlier. Eclipse is back on the map, walking to join his team now. And you gotta wonder what's gonna be happening next. Astega's clone will take some damage, but that does nothing for the side of DZG, and it's gonna be pings coming here from the side of Reign of Kings onto the Snash, and they will start it up here, Morpheus.
Yeah, you wait until you see Slappy being able to push in, which is then when you start Baron if you're the side of Reign of Kings, because you have to send 2 people to answer Slappy. Slappy will destroy Tofu. So all you're doing right now is you're playing this patiently to say, you know what? Oh, Renji just misses sidesteps the knockback. You have to wait and see, hey, are we going to send anyone else to answer Slappy? Because Slappy will kill Tofu. Someone has no chance of being able to... Oh my god! About...
Divine Thunder, Ravenous Hydra, and Cho'Gath are on that Camille Q. Did so much damage. Tofu lost about half of those fucking health bars. Like,
my guy was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to take a nibble out of you. I'm not taking you out for dinner either, mate. Let me chomp on you, fam. This is what I was saying earlier. You can't have just Tofu there. Yes, your idea is that you send the Ornn to be able to try to answer him or be able to try to hold the wave. But if you, it's a catch-22 if you're DZG, because if you send anyone else down there, that's a numbers advantage Reign of Kings has on the Baron. They just started. Leroy got caught though.
Leroy is going to be in trouble. He's forced to flash out. Damage coming up. Eventually, first will connect. Curse of the Sad Money device.
He's still alive!
Ignite! It will not be enough. Walk Tofu does hit him with the Ornn now. Old Hastega trying to salvage the play a little bit. Will pop the decoy and be able to get out of this one, but I don't... Did he use the first charge of Cyclone? No, he did not. Still has access to that. There is still a lot of tools here for the side of Reign of Kings here, and they will fight over this Drake. They're okay trying to 50-50. That is a good wall, but it's not buying you enough time to be able to take this Drake down. Renji's going to be the target.
They can't catch him.
Does not hit with anything. Flips on the backside of the map. Now going to be...
There's Renji!
It's a 4-man Cyclone. That is going to be so much. Astega doing a lot of work here. Wait, hell unstoppable. Renji is going to go gold, and that's going to be DZG just collapsing. All 5 members die. That is a quadra kill coming in for Wit. The quick turnaround, and that will be the Drake falling. Soul going over to the side of Reign of Kings, and all they lost was Hastega and Leroy. They feel damn good about this game. Super in the driver's seat. And that's not enough for them. Slappy's going to teleport to that bot lane and try to take this tower and break the base open. And Reign of Kings is saying, hey, you know what happens when you have a gold lead? We'll show you. This is what you should have done to us game 1.
Yeah, I think the big thing, the idea was fine, right? Mobs, but the idea to set up the water, but to start the Drake, they saw Renji to be able to try and catch the Victor. The idea was fine. They missed everything. Well, they didn't land anything on the Victor. And at that point, you have to think. Yeah, you have to think. All right, we killed the Amumu, but we can't kill the Victor. Victor is at 2 and a bit items right now. This guy is giga strong. They couldn't catch him. And the thing is learning that, hey, when you've missed something, is just learning how to disengage. Just walk away. That's twice now. First one was up at the Herald, where they said, hey, we can go forward, even though they were still behind. And now they did the same thing bot lane. You have to say, okay, if we've missed something, we don't have to have you commit to it just because we've committed an ability or two that's already missed. They were down on Awkward Tofu's ultimate. They were down on Power of Ethernet's ultimate as well. You don't have tools to catch him. At that point, you just have to walk away. And sometimes walking away, even though it may sound like a crappy thing to do, is just that you kind of like the whole, hey, live to fight another day, even though they're really far ahead. You just have to live to fight another, because now the goal leader is ballooned. We're nearly at 9k at this point. I don't see how DZG gets into this. Jin and Tonic has completed the second item of Runans. We'll be going, I would assume that recurve bow's going into a Blade of the Rune King. If you're the side of Reign of Kings, don't even start this Baron. Just let Slappy just push a side lane. And just say, hey, you want to come into us fight, but we're just going to sit here as patient as we can for Slappy to be able to take your base, because there's no one on DZG that can fight him right now.
I don't. You might even be able to survive too.
Yeah.
Inside of DZG have no items. They have no damage profile. There's a Ludens on your Talia. There's 2 items on Kog'Maw, but Kog'Maw, if he shows on the bot side of the map, he has no teleport. So what's he gonna do? Ornaments are now starting to come out, and Tofu does have his, but so sad, too bad. Like, who you're going to even give the next one to, because it's not really going to get a lot of mileage out of that item, especially since Kog'Maw doesn't even have a mythic for you to upgrade. Now we do see some posturing here. They're taking some resets, and Zanya is now coming in for Victor. He's going to be extremely hard to kill. I thought he was hard to kill last time. It's going to be doubly so now. As DZG just trying to get some gold in their pockets and see if they can't stall out this game, but Infernal Soul is absolutely damning.
If you're Reign of Kings, just be patient. Like, or if you're side of DZG, you have to think, hey, we have to commit to something. But Leroy's gone in.
Banish toss, curse of the sad mummy, eclipse falls with legendary, but they will get one back for their trouble. Support for support. But Hestega coming in with a beautiful cyclone, hits 4 again. That is a double kill for Hestega, double kill for Wit, and DZG once again wiped off the face of Summoner's Rift. But that's this might be it. They have
That's game.
the bot lane, and it's going to be teleports coming in. Slappy is going to be able to absolutely eviscerate this tower with Renji, and I think that is going to be game 2 going to the side of Reign of Kings. Series tied up 1-1.
Yeah, we'll be at 1-1 here once this Nexus goes down. Blue side seems to have advantage. I believe DZG will be back on blue side coming in for game 3 per the rules of CCS. It was a complete blowout. No lane was able to get ahead. Yes, Tofu tried to make something happen top lane. Unfortunately, it didn't work. I want to see Jin and Tonic on something more aggressive. Like, throw him on something to where he can be more aggressive. We don't want to wait to see what happens later on in the game. Kog'Maw was more or less ineffective that game. And so was the Talia. Put them on something that, while they are comfort champions, something with a bit more agency early on. That's the only thing I would really say there. But maybe take the Sivir B one, if it's left open.
Yeah, definitely an option. And you know, they took the gamble on it. And they were like, hey, we'll just answer it with Cog Lulu. I thought it looked really good to answer it, but Sivir came up supreme. But, you know, one thing that I will say before we head into break is mental. Game 1 got out of hand, right? You have this gold lead, you weren't able to close the game. That's frustrating. And then you immediately walk into game 2, you take 2 of your teammates and blast code them into an enemy team, lose first blood to the carry, lose the buff on the bot side. You have to maintain a strong mental, and I hope that's not something that's becoming the crux of Olympus in this game, in this series. And I really want to see a strong showing here in Game 3, Morpheus.
Yeah, I think just, hey, try to mental reset as best you can, and just go back to what they did game 1, straight comfort.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are now tied up in the series 1-1. Reign of Kings taking Game 2 in a dominating fashion. Let's see if DZG can strike back and lock this one out. We'll head into a quick delay as we'll bring you the Game 3 draft very shortly.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are town. From London to Taiwan, I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. It's the calm before the storm. Things aren't as they were before.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Seesaw series. It is 1-1 right now, getting back into the picks and bans, Gangplank taken off the table, and the side of Reign of Kings do not want to hand over anything to the side of Gin and Tonic. Once again, joined here by Morpheus. And Morpheus, what are some of your thoughts as we go into this draft?
Give Gin and Tonic something that he can do early on with. No Cogmore, no Coglulu. Give Gin and Tonic and Eclipse something that will give them agency. Let them be aggressive and go forward, because they will make the plays. We saw that game one. That's the big thing of me. That's really the biggest thing I would think. Taking Cass off the table here would actually leave up the Shyvana and Trundle as well. Oh, that was an instant. That was a quick lock-in. Senna TK, I'm assuming, coming in for Reign of Kings. Shyvana is still up for DZG as well. That's something that Power Leading that loves to play, but we'll see if they commit to such a thing early on in the draft.
Well, if they do pick it up, that completely gives away the potential to flex that Trundle to the jungle. So that is something that they need to keep in mind. And Senna Tom Kench, that is going to be a definitely different flavor here for the side of ROK. But I've been impressed with the Leroy, the series. His bandage tosses have looked great. His hooks have looked great. His plays were on point. But this is a completely different style of champion for him coming into this. Tom Kench does a completely different ball game here. And Tristana Leona, hey, Tristana is what really helped him out in game one. Let's see if game 3 can be another repeat. And they want to actually opt into almost the same exact draft coming in for the first 3 picks here that they took in game 1. Shyvana not taken, so you have to imagine it probably will be banned here in the second round of picks. But another thing that they took away from Mobster Penguin was that Vigor. They were scared of it, so there's going to be a lot of interesting things coming out here in this second ban phase as Red 3 pick coming up now on the chopping block.
3-6, this is actually really dangerous for Reign of Kings, because if Rakan lands anything on the center, like, she just blows up. She is so squishy early, and I'm really happy to see DZG giving the bot lane something that'll give him a lot more agency as well. Ooh, Mordekaiser is very interesting. Limits a lot to say, hey, we're going to force you to push this Trundle probably into the top lane to fight him, because, as you said, Shyvana ban's coming through as well. They may limit the pools of what potentially could play well into a Mordekaiser. The Veigar I do expect to be banned again from here by Reign of Kings, as the Vex is also taken away for DZG as well.
Yeah, that is exactly what we got here. The Victor taken away. They did not like what it did to him last game. And once again, that Mordekaiser Trundle matchup is going to be very interesting. It seemed like Slappy really wants to index into these fights and say, hey, you're not going to be able to run away from me. I'm going to be able to lock you into either a Hextech Ultimatum or into a Death Realm and just smack you around. Now, hopefully Tofu will not be like, yeah, I'm going to fight you under tower again and call it a day. But still a lot of options here. Ornn is still under the table. It did not do too well game 2, and it does not do too great into a Mordekaiser, if you ask me. But Corki coming in here for the side of ROK, like, that mid lane pick is certainly strong. We're seeing the Xerath hover now. I don't know if we're going to see a lock-in, but that's always a good, fun matchup. I say sarcastically. The range there coming in from Xerath is absolutely annoying.
Oh, let me see it. Yo, let me see it. Oh, no, don't play with me. No!
They went and broke your heart. Xerath does come in, so a lot of range here coming in from the side of DZG, but once again, we talked about it in game 1. We are a little confused looking at the DZG draft, and once again, it looks like they're going for comfort again. And hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah, I mean, Xerath doesn't really fit the style of how this team wants to play, because he's like, no, oh, this is just like game 1. I'm going to stay as far away as I can and just spit out damage. The only difference between game 1 drafter is that the Xerath or Cassiopeia. I don't like the Xerath personally, just as the champion. However, I do know Mobster Penguin puts a lot of time. It is one of his favorite champions. He is a very proficient Xerath, so that should hopefully bridge the gap there, though. It does match the match the poke of Corki as well. But as a rounding out draft, Reign of Kings I want to see what they have in the next couple of seconds coming in. With the Lilia coming in. All right.
That will
We
be
got Lilia going
Lilia.
back into the jungle. So if you look at both sides, right? DZG, it's essentially a mirror image of game one. The only difference is that they forego the DPS that Cassiopeia brought in, reason being because it's been banned, versus, hey, just high damage poke. But keep this caveat in mind. Xerath is extremely immobile, has a stun, and that's about it, Sunshine. He ain't doing nothing else. Got a slow in his W, but that doesn't really account for much. Where you have someone like the Lilia who can go forward, TK can go forward, Senna can poke at a range to potentially slow you as well. This then falls upon the DCG frontline to say, hey, can we replicate what we did in game one and just buy as much space as we can and give more of the DPS threats over to Gin and Tonic, who I'm super happy to see he's gone back to the Tristana.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what I love doing, and I'm going to do it again. For the side of DZG, we see Trundle in the top lane, Jarvan coming in for the jungle, Xerath in the mid lane with Tristana Rakan back in that bot lane for the Gin and Tonic, and Eclipse. Now, Reign of Kings coming in with a different answer to that draft. We have in the top lane Mordekaiser to face into that Trundle, Lilia in the jungle, Corki in the mid lane with a fasting Senna and a Tahm Kench in the bot lane. Completely different look for that bot lane. Morpheus, I didn't do it to you game 2, but I'm going to do it to you game 3. Who you taking as a favorite for this one?
I mean, I have to go with DCG, right? What they showed in game one. If they get far ahead, they'll end up winning the game. Just please don't wait until 40 minutes to do it again, though.
Yeah, no, I would like to eat before I go to work. That would be nice. I don't ask
Um,
for
but I would say DZG. It's just straight comfort again. Trundle into Mordekaiser, I give the advantage of Tofu just because, again, proficiency on the champion. It's all creature comforts for DZG. There's nothing there that tells me, okay, are they proficient at it? This is, if you're picking a solo queue team and you want to just, you're in your final game of your series to get promoted to Diamond, I mean, this is the team you pick.
100%. Well, we're seeing the bands coming in through. Not too many craziness going on. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to just go ahead and go comms quiet while we see the picks coming in. You already know our thoughts, and then we'll be bringing you the action as soon as we get onto the Rift. So hang tight. Be with you shortly.
Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up. Tonight, we gonna light it up, babe. Tonight, we gonna light it up. Just like the sunrise, we gonna light it up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for the climax of the series, Game 3 at last, as we're seeing, once again, the same story, third time in a row. The blue side wants to go with a five-man rush on the bot side, and the red side is saying, hey, we'll do a five-man fan-out. So let's see if Lightning can strike for the third time and another First Blood can come through. DZG going to be five-man stacking here, but they are not patient at all. Eclipse looking
Commit
for...
Eclipse. There you
Yes,
go.
get the flash. Now, Wit will be flashes for the first 5-6 minutes of this game, so that's a good news story for DZG, but that is not First Blood, so... And Lightning not necessarily striking for the third time.
This is actually so good on DZG's and so bad on the part of Reign of Kings. DGG going in, all Eclipse, just used an ability to go forward to burn the flash out of Wit. Why didn't Reign of Kings say that when they have 4 people bought, why didn't they go ward the top side of DCG's jungle? That's something that, when you see that happening, like even in Gold Elo we do this, and sorry if it sounds like Flame, but it should be just Paramount, go ward their jungle, so you can see where their jungler is starting. That's a double net positive for DCG.
Oh, absolutely. Now, one thing we didn't talk about, Morpheus, is I was actually wrong when I did the five-man list. We didn't hang out during the champ select, but it's actually going to be Slappy piloting the Lilia in the top side of the map versus Trundle. So that is definitely interesting. And another thing to point out too is Mordekaiser opted to go for the Ghost instead of the Flash here when that champion. So two things very interesting sticking out to me here in this this game 3.
I mean, Lilia generally does pretty darn well into Trundle just because of the range matchup. Mordekaiser jungle is, as a whole, it's okay, but I don't see why. Maybe that was a last minute decision to put the Lilia top and then to put the Mordekaiser jungle. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this pans out, but I'm seeing that now. I would say heavy advantage goes to DZG off that.
I agree. And especially when you look at Game 2, one of the things that was really upsetting in Game 1... I'm sorry, look at Game 1. One of the things that was really upsetting for the side of DCG was how Power Ethernet just had no control over his jungle. How many times did he just get completely shoved off his Raptors because Sastega came in with a Lilia and just ran him down? I don't think that's going to necessarily be the case here in Mordekaiser versus Jarvan, because Jarvan should just be able to flag and drag and walk his little happy ass out there. And I have to imagine that the clear is much, much slower for the side of Mordekaiser, but right now he is up in camps and doing all right here, but definitely not as fast as the Lilia's clear, that's for sure.
You want to just throw something out there as well. Renji, never mind. Yep, get that. Renji went first strike on Corki.
Now, flag and drag comes through, and that's going to be Valkyrie out, so nothing coming down there, but please continue your port.
Would you not stop bloody fighting here? Like, I'm trying to flip in talk, lads.
3 games in a row, man!
So first strike was taken for Renji. Never mind.
No, Tofu's going to be ticking low now. Hastega is up here on the top side of the map. He should just be able to walk this one out, but that health bar not looking too good for Tofu. Hastega is going to be piloting around, looking for this this scuttle, and I think, yeah, Tofu's just going to be able to get himself out. Now, for the third time, Morpheus, would you like to continue your point?
So Renji went first strike on Corki, right? Generally, that's something that's fine to go with, but you're being outranged by a Xerath. Xerath gets to put that thing on a full cooldown if he tags Corki with anything first. So once we get to that 10-minute mark, I'd be very curious to see how much gold / damage First Strike was able to net as Eclipse is going forward. Thank you for giving me the time to talk there, Eclipse. Lovely of me to do so. To see, like, hey, has it been effective? Because if someone's end up outranging you and their goal is just a straight pokey, First Strike is probably not the best thing you can take here.
No, absolutely not. Now we're seeing some jockeying here up in the top side of the jungle as Hastega will walk in. I think he did get a camp, but I don't think he got the buff, so that is good for the side of PoE. But PoE is now still at the same amount of camps, so Mordekaiser doing all right clearing this up, but Gold... The farming, rather, is going on inside of this Lilia at the top side of the map, as well as the trading pattern. So definitely interesting to see how this is all going to shake up. And I mean, right now everything's pretty negligible, but it's waiting for the breaking point. We do see that we're going to get the Hextech Drake, just like we did Game 1, be the first strike. I swear, Morpheus, if it's an Ocean followed by Infernals next, I'm going to call the Riot Police. They're scripting something. Slappy taking a lot of damage here, trying to run this one out. Trundle Pillar was beautiful there from Tofu, able to sidestep the bowling ball, and actually finally won a trade there on Slappy, so I'd love to see that.
Yeah, Renji and Penguin also trading here as well. This is going back to Game 1. I mean, I think champion base obviously was different because it was an Ornn versus a Camille in
Oh,
game 1.
DZG starting the Drake.
This is actually really good for them. They've now seen that, hey, we know where the jungler is because they've got the vision down on the bot side of Reigning King's jungle. So they see Mordekaiser is somewhat close by, but we've got a fight on two fronts, potentially collapsing right now with bot lane.
Well, we're seeing the collapse. Eclipse is going forward, trying to get on Wit, but does not land it now. Genitonic going forward, getting a lot of damage with that explosive charge, but Eclipse is low. Now a lot of damage coming out from Xerath, but will it be enough? Wit is low, Power Ethernet is going to be lower. Renji will take down Power over Ethernet. That was actually 2 kills going over, as Tofu did die on the top side in the 1v1 versus Slappy. DZG got the Drake, but they lost 2 members for it. Now 1.5k gold lead sitting in the pocket of Reign of Kings. DZG, that was not what you wanted.
I think Power of Ethernet tried to skip my flash, but it didn't quite work. Renji going in and getting a fair amount of damage on Penguin, but not quite getting as much as he wanted there. Power of Ethernet tried to flash out of the pit, but ended up flashing face first into the wall. So that's one thing to keep in mind. It doesn't have stuns right now, and once a Starga's taking these camps, this may be a dive on bot lane coming in.
Now
Here we go.
Going forward, maybe going to use the Death Grasp. Leroy looking forward, but they swapped the damage onto Wit. Wit is going to be sitting low, and Leroy did not have enough time to get there. Eclipse going to walk this way out. Oh my god, he's out. DZG with the fancy footwork, fast decisions. They end up getting a return kill on that dive and lost nobody in against their favor. So DZG, very well played to counter that dive.
What did I tell you? Give these lads the playmakers. Let them do the ting. And they are doing the ting. Great job by both Genitoc and Eclipse. Both, you could tell, were easily on the same page as they literally beelined for Wit the moment Leroy went in to try and fight them on the tower. Very, very well played. It's Eclipse getting out was icing on the cake because the way he was walking, I was like, hey, I may be dead here. As Power of Ethernet comes up top to fight Slappy.
Now going to be up here. Where's the flag and drag coming in? It's going to be point blank. Now the sleep coming through will be enough, and no, it is not. Slappy will fall off Tofu. Power Ethernet, well done getting your top laner out of that sticky situation.
Yep, gold lead is kind of closing up now. It was 800, is now 500 now, or 400, I should say. So things are balancing out for DZG. This is good. You have Tofu, who's got a little bit of gold about him now. Leave Monster Penguin alone to just be able to scale. I do want to see more ganking up on either the top lane or the bot lane from Power of Ethernet, knowing that top lane doesn't have any suns right now because it's just blue TP to get back to lane, as well as the bot lane center being extremely mobile prior to 6 for Leroy, though, for the TK.
Absolutely. And one thing that I do want to kind of go back in time to, in the first fight near the Drake, we saw that Leroy and the rest of his team were able to keep Wit alive. Like, so many resources were pooled, but I'm not going to get time to talk about this because we're going to get a fight here. Leroy taking a lot of damage. Eclipse is going to get locked up. Will they follow this up? I don't think so, and looks like about even on the trade there. But kind of going back to it, the Drake fight, Eclipse pulled the trigger to try to get his team into the proper position to try to win that fight. But there was so much done to keep Wit alive. But when you look at that tower dive, Leroy going in aggressive was not able to do anything for Wit. And Eclipse and Genitonic made the perfect decision there, and that was awesome to see. So I really want to see how this game is boiled out. I want it to be even. I want it to be a good, clean game where there's not just these mistakes that make me want to bash my head into the desk.
Yeah, top lane, did they get the Rift Herald? Did they get the Rift Herald over for Starga? So that's going to be at least a good couple hundred gold, almost guaranteed into someone's pocket when he decides to burn it. Monster Penguin was looking to potentially come down. He is level 8, so does have the ultimate available. It is always surprising when you're fighting 2v2 bot lane and then a random Xerath ulti comes down and is like, oh shit, what do I do now? So good idea on the move. Just unfortunate that Reign of Kings had the bush warded. I do expect things to kind of even out here, though, unless Power... a lot of this is really on Power of Ethernet to say, hey, can I continue to try and accelerate something? You know top lane doesn't have sums. It's kind of where I would imagine you would want to put your effort into. But Tofu being Tofu, he can fight anything 1v1 at this point. He should be further behind than he is right now. But his proficiency on Trundle is just really peaking.
Yeah, and another thing too, I really want to see Monster Penguin take advantage of the Arcane Barrage, right? He did not really have the wherewithal in Game 2 to utilize the Talia ult to do anything, honestly. And I'm just hoping that he comes down with the Arcane Barrage and really brings the upset factor to this. But Nestega sitting down here in the bot lane does have access to the Death Realm. It's going to be a very awkward ultimate to use. He needs to kind of utilize his E to get things in the proper position to get them out from underneath this tower. DZG just seemed content chilling there. They say pretty much, we dare you, dive us, please. Now, mid lane, the CS is actually going very favorably in Monster Penguin's pocket, so that is good to see. DZG have pretty much equalized that gold deficit they were looking at earlier. Here comes
What
the
the-
Herald. It's used deep in the top side of the map, so we'll really need to see what's going to happen here. From the side of Reign of Kings, and we just had a soul check. It's now sitting at 42 souls here, Morpheus, and I think we're going to have some action very shortly.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a fat finger from Haystaga or if the thing had timed out. Haystaga's found Penguin.
Monster Penguin does flash out of the queue, use the stun to get away. Now Eclipse is going to be running up to him to give him some space. The charm comes in, but now we're seeing the package come through. Corki gets a lot of damage out of Monster Penguin, and it will be enough. Now setting his sights into Eclipse. Renji doing a lot here, and that will also be the Drake going into DZG's pocket, but they lose 3 members for it. Once again, not worth. DZG get the objectives, but they are losing in the body count.
I mean, the Drake the Drakes that have come through both for DZG kind of make that gold lead a little bit smaller. But it's still an advantage over to Reign of Kings. This is just, it's very, very good for them. Yes, you're behind on Drakes, but they should be able to fight for any Drake that comes through. Gin and Tonic needs to be very careful because Leroy's about to go in on him.
He
CP
is
coming in.
trouble. The teleport coming through now. He turns around, gets a little bit of the damage. He's going to try to interrupt, but you cannot interrupt the catfish from going under. The teleport was from Monster Penguin. They're now looking on the Renji. They're going to try to get this damage out. That was a lot of damage coming out from some of the Arcane Barrage coming in. Will it be enough? And what I'm fairly certain that hit, but it did not look like damage applied to the Corki there. I have no idea what the fuck happened. Now damage coming onto Leroy, but I don't think it's going to be enough, as we do see Stega taking plates in the mid lane. The Herald did crack into the top lane and did get slappy some plates, but now Power over Ethernet is here on the top side of the map. We're looking for the flag and drag. The pillar comes in. Will it be enough? And
Staga's coming.
Should be. Now the Cataclysm comes down, but the sleep did land. That is a lot of damage going on to Power over Ethernet. Slappy! Oh, that was so close. Almost got a double kill, but the flash auto attack coming in from Octofu will seal the deal. DZG get a kill back on the board, but still looking at a 2k gold deficit. And that Lilia is doing a fuck ton of damage in the top lane matchup.
Yeah, Corki has 2 kills, bro. This guy's anti-2 boost. My guy got his forces on. This is going to be difficult for DZG. Corki, I know he had a big round of nerfs that came into his AP, but his rockets still do just as much damage as they did. They didn't nerf that piece of it. So the closer he gets to 2.5 items, I would imagine Ludens will be next to him. Or actually with a longsword. I am very curious to see what he ends up going into here as I try to find out what on earth has happened with Corki builds as of the last week or so. But it's still, you know, a Corki getting ahead is still very, very difficult to catch up on. Even though Penguin has the Ludens on his own right now as well. Tristan on Gin and Tonic is not too far behind. Wit already has the Umbral Glaive. Leroy is already beefy enough with them Frozen Fists. It's still very, very close. Don't let the gold numbers deceive you. It is still very, very close in this game.
Oh, 100%. And another thing, too, Morpheus, we're now looking at our 3rd in a row Infernal Drake.
Oh, lovely.
If DZG win this game, Blue side wins 3 games in a row, with Infernal Soul 3 times. I'm gonna go buy a lottery ticket. I said I wasn't gonna do it anymore, but Mega Millions is at like
Here we go!
800 mil, but now we're seeing a lot of damage. Arcane Barrage coming in will be enough, but the Rocket Satchel will be. Did Tonic take that win? Now setting their sight. Cataclysm comes down on Leroy, and he is gonna be burning very slowly. He is that tanky boy. Now the Flag and Drag comes up, shut down, goes into the pocket of Power Over Ethernet and DZG with 2 quick kills. That helps get them back into this, but now the top side is not looking super ideal, but DZG have access to a Tristana. This tower should not be long for this world, and first tower going over to DZG. If they're able to beat Lilia to the punch, they should be. It's going to be damn close here, but that should shore up this gold deficit quite nicely and put DZG right back at even. It's going to be a race here. Will it go down? DZG get that tower first, and now a 600 gold deficit. Going to be short back up a little bit. 1.3 with the top tower falling. Oh no, PoE got rooted. Will he be able to flag and drag out of this one? He has to flash for, or I'm sorry, smite for health. Flag and drag out now, but Corki has Valkyrie coming back up soon. Does use it. One more rocket. That will be it. Renji on a killing spree. PoE bit off a little bit more he could chew. Now, it's going to be the side of Reign of Kings setting their sights onto maybe Herald here, and I think they have all the tools to take it.
I mean, notice how the gold is still very, very even at 2k still. It hasn't bulged out of the way, but Gin and Tonic now has an item completed. All of DZG actually have their, with the exception of Eclipse, have their mythics done. So we know what DZG and what Reigning Kings are trying to do here. DZG is saying, hey, we want the Drakes, right? We want to focus what we did in game 1 and just focus on the objective. However, on Reigning Kings, they're trying to say, hey, we would like for this game to speed up while they've been winning their fights with Rengi and Wit to be able to get them to scale. Slappy has been doing a lot of damage to Tofu top lane, but Tofu's been able to at least keep himself somewhat even there as the ultimate comes in from... What's the Penguin? I don't think he quite... I think he hit... Did he hit Rengi maybe once or
Yeah,
twice?
he stopped Renji's recall. He had the ward ornaments he was trying to recall, so a little bit of an annoyance factor there. But
Maybe just trying to stop him so that stop him get the package, because Drake is up in 10 seconds.
yeah, Drake is up in 10. They should be looking for this. That will put them on soul point, really give them that pressure point. Once again, another game where they're looking for this super early Drake. 16 minutes in. No, it's going to be the Herald summon up on the top side of the map, but it's going to be Hastega now looking to pull Power Over Ethernet, but the Delta and Power Over Ethernet is not going to win this fight. He should fall Cataclysm in for good measure, but that's going to cause...
Oh, wow!
Oh, no! Corki comes in, causes an absolute load of pressure as both Lilia and Corki just shred through the members of DZG. That is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 falling Mobster Penguin. I don't think you're wrong for this world. You can try. You might get it, or you're going to sleep. Oh, no!
Slappy?
It's going to be enough. Leroy goes in. That's going to be an ace. DZG lose 5 members for the cost of nothing from Reign of Kings. DZG, the Drake is your coffin. Stay the fuck away, because every single time that you've shown up to this Drake, you've been leaving in body bags, DZG. Stop it.
Oh my god, what just happened? DZG are now nearly 6k down. That goalie just ballooned. Corki is 5-0-3. Second item is looking to be a Immortal Shield Bow. That's an interesting one to me. I mean, I don't know what to say to that fight. I was all looking well and good until Renji ended up coming in. Slappy doing a monumental amount of damage. Hestaga is able to just... The Mordekai's are able to just keep one person away. I mean, you are going to take away Power Ethernet, or you're going to take away Tofu, because they are A, the front line, and B, were the ones that can cause the most disruption. As we see Renji also completing the Immortal Shield Bow, probably worried that Jin and Sonic still has the potential to be able to kill him. Slappy and Tofu still fighting though, but Hestaga's here as well.
Up here. He does not have access to the ultimate, but I don't think they necessarily need it here with how much damage that Slappy has. Now, 4 members of DZG are up here. They're looking for something. Will they be able to get it? Flag and Drag comes through. That's going to be a lot of damage to Mordekaiser. Genitonic coming in will get the damage. Sen ultimate comes over the top, but it does nothing, as now DZG are going to be looking. They do have an objective bounty, so getting this would be beautiful, but Lilia has access to the ultimate. Actually, negative. No, she does not. Now, DZG are actually forced to run this one away, as Lilia doing so much work. Genitonic's going to go drowsy. Gonna die. DZG not looking too good. Eclipse is going to be next with the chopping block. He's trying to get out of here, but it will not be enough, as I think that a Corky rocket took him to his grave. Reign of Kings lost 1, but DZG lost their bot lane.
I think, in the terms of the fighting game community, if you're aware of this, download complete. They have fully analyzed what DZG likes to do and are beating them at what they are most comfortable at. And if you're the side of DZG, you have to think, okay, like, how can we really stay in this game? You're so far down on gold now that it just becomes really difficult. Corki is just running away. I don't even know what count we're at for Senna Souls right now. That we haven't even spoken about that. We're not at 20 years yet. So production, if we can get a count on Senna Souls, we would really like to know how far scaled this Senna is, even though she's only at an item and a half right now. Penguin is trying to do what he can to Slappy, but that deer is saying, you ain't having me for dinner tonight. As he gets tagged, ultimate is not up
though. So fast, but Mobster is going to be slowed. Will he be able to get out? Leroy going forward aggressively. He's a tanky boy, should be fine. But that Corki is an absolute menace. Now Mobster Penguin's going to try to do something against Hastega here, but Hastega's coming up on that ultimate soon. If he's able to get Mobster Penguin's not going to be able to survive this one again, especially with no flash. DZG are struggling to find their lifeline here. They want these objective bounties, but they're getting punished each time they look to try to get them. Now Mobster Penguin was trying to take that bot lane tower in the middle of that chaos, but that quick answer teleport from Slappy there did a lot. But one thing that I wanted to point out, I thought that bot lane tower was gone, but no, Mobster Penguin was between 2 towers trying to survive there, and members of Reign of Kings just have DZG's number. You're absolutely correct.
It's just becoming very difficult for DZG. They're now down, what, 7k at this point? Their objective was thinking, hey, maybe we can just do Drake first to be able to get us in. That last Drake fight really bit him on the arse though, to say, hey, I don't know whether they can fight it. Renji, as doing what a cool should, is just saving package to keep these Drake fights more in the favor of Reign of Kings. if you're the side of DZG, like you kind of have scaling with Xerath, and Tristana does scale well as well. But if you're on the other side, like Senna scales infinitely technically, so you are on somewhat of a time clock to say, hey, can we end this? Genotonic, unfortunately, having his back stopped by Leroy. Leroy's come all the way around. Like game 1, he died over and over again, but it's like a mirror performance in. It's a full 180 performance here in game 3.
Yeah, even despite dying in game 1, like he still did a lot on that Thresh. Like he bought his team a lot of time. Senna now at 87 souls at 20 minutes, so staying about 40 per 10 minutes. So that's doing pretty well for her. Getting those range bonuses is gonna be a little annoying to deal with, certainly. But we talked about standout players from the side of Raiden Kings. I really feel like Hastega and Leroy have been very clutch in setting up a lot of this. Wit now doing what an 80 carry does and getting in there, pumping out the damage, looking good doing it, especially in game 2.
Penguin!
Oh no, Penguin getting Leroy on top of him, the damage is coming back. Penguin's shooting somewhere, does end up hitting Hastega, but Hastega is going to be taking Penguin into the death realm. No, Mobster Penguin forced to flash out, but he's not going to get out. Now, huge knockup coming out will be enough. Mobster Penguin will fall to Hastega. That's also going to be recon falling as well. DZG are running away. Octofu trying to get to this blast cone. Power Ethernet running away. Leroy looking forward. Flag and Drag gets him out, but DZG lose 2 more members as Drake is now back on Summoner's Rift. DZG, we talked about it. Drake is your crux. Stay away from the pit because you are losing bodies every single time you posture for this objective.
That was just so difficult. I think the DZG have now seen, like, hey, after that they weren't able to win it, how far behind they are on gold. Big caveat to that, Eclipse was actually warding. He wasn't there. And I think the collapse from Reign of Kings just happened to do something. So trying to make something happen now.
A lot of damage coming out onto Leroy, but it will not be enough. He is a very beefy boy. He said it, when he built this Frozen Gauntlet. But now he is 4-1-4 on this extension, just, an absolute beefcake. 7-0 on Corky, 3-2 on Lilia. There's a lot of gold on the map. There is a lot of gold on the map, but you're down 9,000. If you're able to get it, great, but it's an uphill battle for sure, Morpheus. Uphill battle.
I think at this point you have to think, like, if you're DZG, like, the first thing you have to keep in mind is making sure Corky can't just free fire. Package will be up soon as Leroy is just eating these arcane barrages from Monster Baker for breakfast.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't even care. He's like, okay, cool, I was planning to recall anyway. Now, Nash is on the table. There's still the option to pressure around this for the side of Reign of Kings. But I mean, they should be feeling very comfortable doing whatever they want at this point. Once again, this is another game where they can just throw their fucking pocketbook right at DZG, and it's going to be very hard pressed for them to answer.
Yeah, it just gets difficult. If you're DZG, you have to, like, how can we go about this? And there is no real safe way to say. You just have to say we just need to get a good fight in. Leroy is so thick right now, and Hestagas causes so much chaos with taking whoever he wants to the Shadow Realm. Generally has been Monster Penguin, because he can just, it's funny seeing the Ghost now. Ghost can just ghost up to either Penguin or Tonic and say, hey, I could just get you in here. No one's built a QSS, with the exception of Power of Ethernet. So you're going to have to pay that QSS tax at some point if you're going to get there. This is getting difficult for DZG. I don't really know how else they can really come back into it. Maybe look for a pick is the best thing I could say, but the longer this game goes on, Renji gets stronger. Wit just infinitely gets stronger. He's at 2 items now. It gets difficult to see what the potential winnings for DZG might be.
Well, everybody always talks about in America that you should try and tax the rich, but they're not doing that. They're taxing the poor right now, and the poor do not have the money to pay it. That QSS sets Power of Ethernet so far behind. He's sitting on a Gore Drinker. He's so squishy. There is no frontline really for DZG to play around. Like, yeah, sure, like, Tofu was able to do some things on Trundle and heal back up, but he doesn't have Conqueror really for longevity. And I mean, even if he did, you have the injuries there to burn it away. So, and Leandry's Demonic Embrace on Lilia, and then you also have Demonic Embrace as well for the Mordekaiser. So there's a lot of burning that's going to be going down here, and these members of DZG shouldn't be lasting long at all. Renji took a few Arcane Barrages here, and Tofu now looking here on the bot side of the map, trying to do something. Let's see what's going to happen, but I don't like how this is looking. Tofu is healing. Slappy is going to get away. Subjugate is not going to be enough, and Slappy barely lives that one out, and is just able to prance away. God, I hate that character animation. But DZG look for something, just not able to find it. Just a game of inches. They were able to actually get the Scuttle Crab, so yay, we took the Scuttle.
Yeah, I think at that point you have to think like Tofu did well to try and get the 1v1 in. But saying that, it's like, okay, what else can we really do? Like, he's doing as best as he can just to try and keep the game and say, hey, I can at least somewhat fight this. They get a huge bounty there, 680 gold over back to DZG, even though as far behind as they are right now. I think they should, Objective Iron should still be staying live because of the gold deficit. But it's something for them, right?
You take what you can get at this point. You are looking for any option to stay in. Fortunately, the first 2 drakes did go over to DZG, so they don't have to worry about a getting forced into fight for the sole point here. It would be nice, but we've already talked about how damning drakes have been for the side of DZG. Now, the side of Reign of Kings are playing this very slow, patient, looking for the right avenue, right pressure point to be able to get something going for them. They have teleports available, Nash is still on the table, a minute for Drake, like, there are options. It's just, what do they want to play around? Clearing out some vision on the Nash, and maybe look to start it, but I don't like where Tofu is at right now. They do see the caution pings, he should be fine. Yeah, he's just going to walk this one out, but DZG, one thing that we haven't talked about, they have 5 towers gone. That means that they have to play very safe on this map. The only towers that they've taken were the bot side tower, and that's not where they're playing, so... the map control definitely is in favor of the side here.
They're committing here.
They're starting up the Drake or the Nash. Now, DZG know this. They have that scuttle vision. They're seeing the pings come out, and they're starting to walk. Mobster Penguin has access to teleport. This is going to be hurting. It's gone. There is nothing that DZG could do to answer this. They're looking for some return damage. Renji should just be able to Valkyrie out. They got the mid lane tower. But that objective bounty is not enough to make up for the gold deficit that just accumulated from the Nash gold. Now it's going to be the side of Reign of Kings saying, okay, cool, we got Nash, we're going to walk right on down. Teleport coming in now from Corky, and I did not hear if he got packaged, so DZG are going to be hard-pressed to get anything.
He does have package.
Right now.
He does have the package, like, and has the Baron buff as well. Like, this is the 3rd trick going to go over. Power even that might want to coin flip this.
Oh, he'd get hit by the E. Now it's going to be Valkyrie coming in, the power package. Now, Corky's going to be knocked up, but Leroy is over there to help him out. Drake falls, so does Power over Ethernet, and Jen and Tonic is saying, I want none of this. Soul point now for the side of Reign of Kings. And, yeah, their reign might be long as this series definitely going in their favor, and they might be looking to go 3-0 here with this victory.
Yeah, this is going to be a very difficult defense for them because TK ends up going flying in.
Leroy is in, but he's getting stunned up. That's a lot of damage going out to him. He can't imagine he lives. He does not. Jen and Tonic, that is who you want to get that gold. But now Octofu fighting Slappy once again. And Slappy looking a little bit healthier this time. Now, Tofu looking to fight it out. Does he have the stuff to get available? He does. Trying to get the damage out, but that deer is so damn fast. Slappy looking to go back in, not giving any sort of cares, and Tofu gonna run this one out.
Oh, Renji's here.
Coming in. Renji is gonna be blast coating over, gonna get a lot of damage out here off Tofu. That's an awkward situation. Renji, legendary, 8-0 on this Corky, an absolute menace to society, and Reign of Kings look like they are doing no wrong here. Minus Leroy's little journey into the base, but hey, you take what you get. Now, Slappy just taking everything in this topside jungle on clips, trying to do what they can. And we talked about it in Game 1, Slappy looked like the weak link, but his Camille in Game 2, his Lily in Game 3, definitely looking a far sight better than the Aatrox from Game 1.
Yeah, Aatrox was the interesting pick. Like, unfortunately, he just slammed in lane. But Game 2 and Game 3 really turned it around, which is obviously very, very good to see. You never want to see someone just hit the dirt all the time. Game 2 on Camille was essentially a carry for the team, and Game 3 is providing a lot more utility. And we say that as a Lilia, but throws out a ton of damage as well. DZG is down more or less, 8-9k at this point. Even though they did get the shutdown onto Leroy and Tofu did get that bot tower for, was it 680 odd gold, it still begs the question, like, does DZG have the damage to be able to come back in? Tristana, Genitonic and Tristana is at 3 items now, so has been farming up a storm to be able to help that out there. Shadow Flame is completed as Leroy decides to go in and nab some KFC for himself.
Looking aggressive, that Satchel Charge is going to blow, but I don't think it's going to do too much. Yeah, Hastega wasn't even phased by it blowing up on his head. And DZG, like, super uphill. As we've said time and time again now.
Oh, Leroy?
To knock him up. Now the grip through the wall there. It's going to be a lot. No! I think that was Ignite for the final tick. That was Death Realm popped as well. Mobster Penguin falling. This should be mid lane tower falling as well. Now, DZG are running on the back foot. Power Ethernet flags and drags away. That's going to be mid lane in hit falling. 2 minutes on Drake, so there's nothing for the side of Reigning Kings to take off this. But hey, you feel damn good breaking the base.
Surprised they didn't go and try and end the game there. They saw Tofu was top lane, but Eclipse may have been cool. No.
Now Slappy is now here to fight it now. Going drowsy is Tofu. Now Slappy on top of him. Eclipse taking a lot of damage here. Hastega looking forward. Gonna get knocked back onto Power Ethernet. It was pulled away from the flag and drag there. That was actually beautiful from the side of Hastega now. Looking very aggressively here. It's gonna be a lot of damage coming out. Will it be enough? The last pull will bring Power Ethernet within range of the Q. And that
They're getting the game here.
is so damn strong. I don't think they are. Now Slappy is just beating up on Tofu. Why aren't they going for the end here? There's not really a good chance for DZG to defend this, but they're playing this one very cautious, very slow. 10k gold lead. Nash coming up in a minute 50, Drake in a minute 30, and that's going to be the soul if they're able to get it. Tofu is going to be burning a lot. They're looking for him. They're spending a lot of time to kill him. Teleport coming through won't be enough. He is going to fall. Wit gets him, and if we can get a quick soul check, actually just kidding. Production, you're awesome. 103 or 113 souls for this Senate. Has slowed down a little bit, but Wit doesn't really have to do much this game.
Yeah, I mean, just sit back and just throw them Qs out, mate. Like, it was a good idea by Tofu to try and get out, but I just don't think he was expecting the just straight up damage as it would come out from the Senator as well, but we see why because of how many stacks he's at. Tofu ended up buying the Hull Breaker as well, which says, like, hey, it's the only way that they feel like they can get some gold into their pockets is they have this multiple to answer. As Eclipse goes forward,
Eclipse goes forward, and he is between a rock and a hard place. Leroy going forward as well. The rest of DZG are trying to come in to defend this, but the rest of Reigning Kings are looking to join as well. Actually, just Slappy. But that's all they need. They can win probably a 3v5. Supers are going to be starting to flow into the base. 28 seconds on this Infernal Soul, and that's not going to be good. That's going to be a channel forward. Leroy has Monster Penguin's number. Oh my god, Renji! Well, a fuck ton of damage as Monster Penguin just gets eviscerated from the game. Now Renji going to be throwing rockets over the wall. Leroy looking a little low here, but Wit is here to give him some sustain. It's going to be PoE going back in with the Cataclysm, but Wit on a killing spree. Eclipse going to be on the chopping block next as Leroy takes down support for support. Supportal combat goes in favor of Leroy, and now Reigning Kings has super minions in the base, and it looks like they're going to be going into the base as well. They have Renji's teleport, SC's going to be recalling, grabbing something, and then teleporting to one of these minions. You have to think here very shortly. There it is, charged on the super. Gen and Tonic super low here, and I think this might be all she wrote. That's going to be a root going on to off Tofu, and the Valkyrie coming through with the package. Renji taking a lot of damage. Gen and Tonic trying to get that shutdown.
Oh, he saved him!
Saves him. Now Octofu going to be on the chopping block here, and he might be able to walk this one out. He will, but those Nexus towers are going to be falling. One down. Now DZG trying to look at these low health bars. Monster Penguin's back up. He does get the shutdown on to Renji. Lilia falls as well. DZG holding into this game just barely, but they are able to shove off that desperate push. Whoa, voice cracks OP. That desperate push coming in from Reigning Kings to end that one out quickly. DZG hanging by a strand.
Man, get the camera! They're still in the game! DZG were able to somehow hold on to the base there, and they are making a beeline for the Baron Pit. They're calling this an all-or-nothing play right now. I don't think they can really do this because they just don't. They won't have the damage, but commitment coming in from Penguin though. Hey, Slayer may have taken.
They feel like it's their only choice. They do not have the Tristana there as she needs to deal with Hastega in the base, but that's going to be one tower falling. Death Realm coming in. Gentok steps out. Oh my god, that isolated Q is absolutely gnarly. Now Hastega says, I don't care, I'm just going to smack the Nexus. But I don't think he's going to be able to survive this damage coming. Oh no! Genotonic does take the E. Now Hastega, 1, 4, auto into the game, and right to pick, taking down the
Oh, that was so close at the. I mean, desperation play, right? You think that you can take it down, and it's the best way for you to be able to stay in the game. The team followed the call, which is always the thing you want to see. When you make a call, everyone should follow through. Hastega just does so much damage, and unfortunately, Jin and Sonic just couldn't match the beefiness. As Hastega landed 2 massive isolated Qs to more or less shred him down and essentially win the game from there.
I mean, damage charts weren't that damning for the side of DZG, but Slappy coming up here and really had a turnaround performance from game 1. And just the big highlights, like yeah, Renji did a lot of damage in game 1 and game 2, but I really look at the playmaking coming in from Leroy. Game 2, game 3, even game 1. Hastega, the Cyclones coming out from the Wukong in game 2, the Death Realms in game 3, and also the one thing that's really not talked about too much is the level of versatility that both Slappy and Astega had, saying, you know what, Slappy feels comfortable taking that Lily up top, really piloting it just as well, if not better, than Hastega did in game one. So great draft adaptation coming out of the side of Reigning Kings, and DZG just were not able to bring it together in game three.
Yeah, commiserations over to DZG. Well done to Reign of Kings. They brought it back going down first game. DZG tried to play full comfort. Obviously, it didn't quite work out, unfortunately for them. I do think there are positives to take away from if you are DZG, seeing at the fact that, hey, they were able to try and somewhat play from behind, which is something that you do want to see, because most teams, when they fall behind, they just tend to crumble. DZG didn't quite do that. They were able to at least somewhat stay competitive. But ultimately, download was complete from the side of Reign of Kings, and they just knew exactly how to play into them.
Absolutely. Well, DZG, well played. Hang in there. There's always next week, right? And Rated Kings going 3-0 right now. Like, they're looking like a strong team. Definitely a lot of potential in them if they're able to fire on all cylinders, and tonight they were. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for another day of League of Legends, DZG League of Legends. Tomorrow night, Elysium takes once more to the Rift, so feel free to check us out tomorrow night, as I think it is going to be Morpheus and Gritty on that cast. Also, feel free to check out our sponsors, Metafy and W. So get your coaching, get your energy, do both at the same time. Morpheus, as always, my friend, a pleasure to cast with you. I missed it, and thank you so much, man.
Cheers, mate. Really appreciate it. You will have a good night.
Take it easy, and we'll see you tomorrow night.